Yes, guys. Welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to another video. This time we can actually delve deeper into everything that's been happening over the last 24 hours. Because, yes, we were distracted through 90 minutes of paint dryingly boring football between Chelsea and I think it was Brighton. I barely even remember we've been playing. I've been getting it wrong the last 24 hours. But what a terrible game of football. But what an amazing 24 hours as well. The Super League has now officially been suspended, and we can actually hold claim to saying Chelsea were the first team to start the domino effect of clubs leaving. Manchester City are gone. Every team in England is gone. I think, Scott, you said it was only Juventus, Real Madrid, and Barcelona even still left in the Super League, but the Super League's already suspended at this point in itself. And we're going to discuss all the different perspectives that are surrounding the collapse of the Super League. We're also going to talk about whether the job's done as well, because I really don't want people to just stop now that we've actually stopped and focused on the Super League, because UEFA, in my opinion, are just as big of a problem as well. Some of the quotes I've been hearing from UEFA as well, it sounds absolutely tone deaf compared to stuff that we've been hearing from the last few weeks. Who else as well? Rodrigo, I heard you said you wanted to come on and speak as well because you wanted to speak from a different perspective. DM me on Twitter. I'll send you the link as well. You can get involved. But big up everyone who's been locked in. The links to everyone's Twitters is down in the description below as well. So check it out and smash the follow button if you guys haven't done so already. Fata, I want to start with you because you were at the protest. You saw everything encapsulated and everything happened before your very eyes. What was your thoughts on the protest and everything you saw yesterday, man?
For the first half an hour, it was more of a smooth protest. Everyone was kind of sound of their voices. There was loads of media on the side from Sky Sports, from Telegraph, from any other kind of TV station and all that. And the protest went smooth at that point. But then after that, around that half five, everyone was trying to block the team bus at the Stamford Gate. It was kind of a bit hectic at that point because of the police charges start to involve in, and then all of a sudden Peter Cech turned up in that melee as well, explaining to the people in front of people, lots of cameras and that at that point, and he was saying about please guys give us time to sort this out, and he was very sounded on what he's trying to say. And
Cech wasn't given any slander though, right?
No, there was no slander at all. It was just like more of he's trying to sort this thing out. And he's also tell us that please guys don't try to stop us the game, don't try to delay the game, and don't try to cause any trouble in that involving Chelsea team bus and all that. But after that, one of the guys kind of like, hey guys, if the bus didn't come up from the Stamford Gate, let's go to Britannia Gate. Let's go back there. And when we go back there, it was kind of like, again, police already there, about 7 police cars.
There was Chelsea fans on both sides, were there? Or was there actually enough? Was there enough Chelsea fans?
Majority of us were like in the Britannia Gate itself. There's no Chelsea fans apart from police and different medias there as well.
So no one was really by the away stand entrance until they thought the coaches were going that way.
Yeah, that's until that point. And then after that, when we go back, it's like both sides were surrounded. We kind of like know where to go. If we want to go back, it's pointless because they covered both sides literally. And at that point, 20 minutes after Peter Cech came out with that statement, after the talk to the fans and that, and then one of the guys checking on his phone, breaking news, Chelsea have prepared a withdrawal from the ESL. After that, the celebration was kind of go mad. And it was the domino effect from that point that lead other clubs to withdraw from the Super League.
Yeah, sorry. I've had to put this on mute as well because the drilling is literally pissing me off, and I can't tell if anybody's hearing it as well. What was the reaction when you guys actually heard the news that Chelsea were preparing the documents to officially drop out of the Super League?
It was mad reaction. It was more like Champions League night reaction when we go to final back in 2012, and that it was ecstatic all around. Not only Chelsea fans, but also there's a couple of the Man City fans and Man United fans, and also some Liverpool fans in that crowd as well. and everyone was just kind of united ourselves to stand up to the Super League. And that is everyone's raising their voices, raising their opinions, and it was all mad celebration from not only Chelsea fans but all other clubs as well. Even though not many of Arsenal fans, Tottenham fans are there yet, but it was more to the fact that we all set our side, our rivalry aside, and then let's just us united as a fan and celebrate and this withdrawal from the Super League. And like Jamie itself, Jamie was there as well alongside me. Jamie was very silent about that blocking the team bus as well. Like people, even though like we were trying to purpose to stop the team bus to delay the game, but you know what, man? What happened today? Let's just celebrate. At that point, everyone was going mad. Beers were everywhere. It was really hectic at that point. But yeah, man, it's very ecstatic at that point. But yeah, very exciting moment at our point at the game though.
Yeah, I can't like yesterday is going to go down in footballing history. It's going to be a day that we look back on. And we're going to talk about how we saved ourselves. Well, I say saved ourselves. We kind of paused from the inevitable, but I still don't think the job's done right now because everyone's still talking about how we saved ourselves from the Super League. I'm still hearing no changes to the Swiss model from 2024. And with the Swiss model in 2024 coming out, it's not as extreme as 15 clubs who are guaranteed to stay in the same competition, but it's very similar. You've got the 8 teams that go to the last 16 who guarantee their spot for next season. You've got 2 teams that can go in based on their coefficient, even if their league position doesn't come into effect. So, like, if Manchester United finished 6th, they could still qualify for the Champions League based off their coefficient. And if a team like Leicester City finished in 4th place, they'd be forced to play in the Europa League, and Manchester United would get Champions League football. So, in my eyes, the job is still not done. And Scott, I know you're going to say something as well, so you go for it.
I was just going to say that I was looking at the format this morning and like now before I came on, and it's terrible. Like I said on Lawrence's stream yesterday when I was doing the player ratings that I could get behind it if it meant smaller clubs would get more money from it, because that's always good and that filters down into the rest of the league, and that's all. It levels the playing field for a lot of leagues. But even with that, it's genuinely terrible. The new format, as you said, the 8 teams that if they qualify for the next round guarantee their spot in the Champions League next year, which is just as bad as the Super League. Might not be 15 teams, as you said, but it's just as bad. The coefficient thing, which basically Man United will never not be in the Champions League. They could finish 15th for all that matters, and I think they still get in. There's so many things wrong with it, and I think I agree with you. This has to continue towards the racism, towards other problems with UEFA and FIFA, the protests and the rallying together as fans, no matter what club you're at, needs to continue.
Exactly. And this is the format for you guys who haven't already seen it. It raises to 36 teams instead of 32, including the 2 extra coefficient spots as well. Everyone plays a round of 10 games against different teams of differing qualities to try and make it as level as possible. And the top 8 get automatic qualification to the last 16 and automatic qualification to next season's group stage as well, while 9 to 24 go into a new round of playoffs, and the final 8 from there go into the last 16 as well. This is meant to increase revenue from the Champions League and add a lot more games to the competition. But I feel like for the biggest clubs as well, that's been the biggest problem for them too. The constant increase of more football and the impact that it's having on their players as well. And it's been these little microaggressions, which has been why I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of these clubs have been pushed to even try and make the European Super League. And it's not to try and justify it either, because there were still so many issues with it in general. Really and truly, the more ideas came out about it, even the Fiorentino Perez conference that came out soon afterwards too, it just made everything sound so massively rushed. And even rushing it for the day before UEFA were meant to make these announcements, it just shows to me like this seems, I don't want to call it a complete negotiation tactic, because these lot were all ready to leave. They were all completely ready to go. They'd left the ECA. They'd done everything they needed to do. So it wasn't just a threat by this point. But it does feel a bit rushed. It does feel completely rushed. Oscar, chat to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It does feel all a bit rushed. I just got to say massive respect to like all the Chelsea fans that went there. The fact that everyone's been so up in arms about this has made a change, and the clubs have had to backtrack on their decision. I like the fact that it's made all of these like top dogs in football just like kind of recoil back into their chairs. Like the Man United had to Woodward's resigned. I'm sure that's got something to do with this. John Henry from Liverpool came out and gave a video today apologizing to Liverpool fans. Arsenal apologized to their fans in that little Twitter statement they gave. So I
mean, the club statements though, they ain't even been that, like, you've seen our one at least. It was like 6 lines.
But that's literally what I was going to get into next. I like, as much as I respect what the Chelsea fans did, I can't come on here and be like Chelsea saved football, because our club was a part of this too. Our club was joining the Super League and ready to do all the damage to the Football League and the other teams beneath us. So yeah, it's a bit of a 50-50 one. But I do think they joined this league because these clubs are not making enough money compared to how big they are, and I think the renovations they've made to the Champions League isn't that great, but something does still need to be done in order to get more revenue. And I think when you said the clubs don't want more games, I actually disagree. I think they do want more games. I think they want more games so they can sell more tickets and then they can have more reach in different areas around the world. So I think a new Super League will be coming, a new version of it will be coming, and now we're just going to be more prepared for it. Let's just hope they don't make the same mistake they made this time by trying to shaft all the other clubs beneath them.
I also think that playing more games is not necessarily a problem. I was saying this on Lawrence's stream yesterday. It comes down to having the squad able to play those games and filling the squad out to play the games. Like, look at City. I know they have money, but they spend it very well with who they buy. You look at, for example, when we played them in the FA Cup, they've got like a goalkeeper, Zach Steffen. Didn't cost them a lot, but he's a decent replacement for Edison. And it's all about buying good enough replacements that when you play more games, when you play the games that don't quite matter as much, you have people you can bring in. And I think that comes like Liverpool this season is struggling because they didn't fill their squad out enough. They decided to trust 2 youngsters at centre-back and sell one of their experienced centre-backs to Zenit. And it's come back to bite them in the arse. And I think playing more games isn't necessarily a problem. If it's, you're getting like upwards of like 80 games across a season or something, or whatever stupid it is, like it could get to if you end up playing as many games as you do, then you've got a problem. But playing an extended level of games isn't a massive issue if you fill the squad out. I think the issue is more the guaranteed, like people guaranteed in the Champions League and guaranteeing them like basically what the Super League was. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're a big enough club historically and have done well enough, like in previous years in the Champions League, you're guaranteed your spot. I also think an issue with this is the fact that no team goes down to the Europa League despite where they finish. Absolutely no team goes down, which for some of the clubs like a Shakhtar or an RB Salzburg or whoever, that's their like getting in the Europa League is the only chance they have of winning a European trophy ever. And so for them, they're stuck in a position where, you want to win the league in your domestic league every year and you want to get to the Champions League, but you're never going to progress further than that massive group stage. So you're never going to get more than that group stage money. So you're never going to do anything. But you can't
feel
go
like
to the
that
Europa
was
League.
also a problem as well? That because I know for a lot of Europa League clubs as well, the ones that play consistently in that competition, a big problem for them is as soon as they get to the last 16 or the quarterfinals, they end up facing a Champions League knockout side who's been given a second chance at a competition. So it could go around and be an increasing problem for them. Like, that's probably one of the reasons why the Conference League was being created. Because if you look at the Conference League too, when it comes to the top 5 leagues, I think there's only one spot allowed for them. Whereas it's if you're one of the lower ranked countries, you get a lot more places in the competition because it gives you a better chance of winning it.
But then that's been done to help that. Whereas like with the Europa League, you have that problem, but it's only a problem once you get to the past the group stage. So if you're good enough to get past the group stage, like theoretically, you've got a chance to go to the latter stages. If you're never getting past the group stage in the Europa League, you never have to worry about facing these Champions League dropouts anyway. So if you are a Wolfsburger, I know they got through and faced Tottenham, but say they don't get through the group stage, they never have to worry about facing a Champions League team because they're not at the level yet where they can get to that next stage. And the next stage for them, the money they get from the Europa League will help them get to that stage of just getting out the group stage.
And I think it benefits them. A team like Granada, obviously we don't have fans now, so it's horrible. But a team like Granada want to face Manchester United.
Yeah.
They want to have that opportunity. So I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, that's the thing. The prospect of playing a Barcelona if they drop out, or an Inter Milan, or a Tottenham, or a United, or a Real Madrid if they drop out, or whoever. That's a massive prospect for some of these small teams. That's the biggest game they'll have in years for some of the smaller teams. And the revenue they can create from that, just on match days. I know, obviously, this year and last year, a bit different, but the revenue they can create on match days on normal years, that's massive for them.
You're on mute.
This is really going to keep getting at me, I swear down. All right, Jamie, what are you saying, bro? Because I know you were at the protest as well, and I know you've been massively against this from the start. How are you feeling today, my guy?
Bro, I'm not going to lie. My voice took an absolute battering last night.
Of course, I bet you weren't used to that as well. It's the first time fans have been chanting together for months.
Bro, it's been over a year since I've literally been like on fucking voice rest for like a year. And you know how vocal I am at games, innit? I had to bring it all out last night again.
Yeah, bro, tell me about what it was like yesterday, man.
Echo.
Oh, shit, is that from me?
Yeah.
No, that's better.
All right. Yeah, Jamie, chat to me, man. What was it like yesterday at the bridge?
Well, it's pretty much what Fata said. Like, we started off at the was it the Britannia Gate, Fata? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Britannia Gate, yeah.
Yeah. We started up there. When I turned up, there's only like a few hundred of us, but then as it gradually got on, like somebody just grabbed a whole group of people, just swarmed into the road, and then we just took over that road. All the buses were stopped, all the cars, the taxis, everything was held up. It was mental.
Sorry, give me a second.
Lewis on mute again.
No, not even on mute this time. It's literally everything that's happening outdoors. One question I want to ask everybody as well. With everything that's been happening now, we've already spoken about UEFA. What happens to 3 clubs that even still left in the European Super League? Because you said Juventus is still in there. You've got Barcelona and Real Madrid still in there as well. I've heard from rumors speaking that the Spanish clubs, UEFA were mainly trying to push the English clubs out, and it was the Spanish clubs that they were looking at as the more traitorous clubs for all of this. And we already know through Chelsea and Manchester City that they weren't really that keen on joining the European Super League, but the main reason for them joining was because they wanted to be on the right side of the coin for the situation. What happens to clubs that were the main protagonists in this situation? Your Barcelonas, your Real Madrid. What do you guys expect to happen to them? Because with us, they always offer the door to come. They always offer the door open for us to come back. They said we can come back without any real issues. But I feel like for a Real Madrid especially, and for a Barcelona as well, if these are going to return, they need to have massive changes in their system before it happens.
For me, it's just because of the people involved. I think it's Real Madrid and Juve are the ones they're looking at with Agnelli and Perez. And if I'm UEFA in this situation, because of the threats that were made and because of the position that I have, the report you said yesterday, I think I go through with that, where they said, you saw the report where they want to ban Real Madrid from all European competition until Perez leaves. I go through with that. If I'm, and I'm not just saying that because we face them in the next round.
Yeah.
But if I'm UEFA, I go through with that to make a statement. And
He's the
like,
orchestrator.
they're not the good guys, as we said, but to show that they can't get away with this, you impose that. You say,
I think me and Jamie kind of spoke it out yesterday as well about what happened to those 3 after the celebration and all that. I think Jamie was very sounded as well that he wanted those 3 clubs to be punished as much as possible, though, isn't it, Jamie?
What Real Madrid, Barca, and Juve?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was really vocal how we were like out of all the clubs, it was like Real Madrid that we were really like digging into. We like kept chanting "fuck Real Madrid." Like,
oh yeah,
like,
but they're the main protagonists.
Yeah.
This is all Perez's idea. He's the chairman of the whole.
They're in the most financial difficulty with Barcelona. They are real financial difficulty.
I was talking to this with my mum. I was talking about my mum with this last night, and they've put themselves in that situation. That's why I have no sympathy for Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah.
They've put themselves in the situation they have. Yes, COVID's had an effect because it's had an effect on all clubs. But when you're spending 350 grand a week or whatever it is on Gareth Bale's wages to the point where you can't renew Sergio Ramos's contract, when you're spending 140 million on a bench player in Coutinho, who you're now not playing because of some stupid reason or whatever it is, like, you've put yourself in this position from your idiotic financial decisions. So I have no sympathy for you that you're in this situation.
If the roles reversed and it was say United, Chelsea, and Arsenal proposing it to Real Madrid and Juventus and all the other clubs, the European clubs, and they were in a position like we are, where Chelsea are in a strong position financially compared to everyone else. If they were in that strong position, there's no way in hell that they would agree to join in this Super League, because in their minds they're like, well, we're actually comfortable, we're happy with the way the structure is, we don't need to change. But they're in dire straits right now, where they're forced to make this move and basically get on board everyone who doesn't want to feel left out. They've joined, if you like, reluctantly, apart from the four culprits, who, can I just say, are Juventus, Real Madrid, Manchester United and Liverpool. They are the four heads of this Super League. So let's have that right. Those four clubs and the owners of those four clubs have orchestrated this together. And Chelsea and all the others have kind of like felt put in a position, well, we're as elite as you guys. So if you're creating the Super League, then we're entitled to be in the Super League if we're going to go this way. What they didn't expect was, naively, in my opinion, is the reaction of not the clubs but the fans, as if all the fans are going to accept this. It's just crazy. So they know the timing of it, like we said yesterday, or before yesterday, was because of the fact that UEFA are restructuring their model. They're trying to generate more revenue from the Champions League. For me, it's not about adding more games to generate revenue. For me, it's about sort the percentages out, because clearly the percentages are in favour of UEFA more than they are of all the clubs participating, and that's where the problem lies. They're eating all of the cake, and the clubs that need the money to make football happen are clearly struggling with COVID on top of that. So I feel like this has happened now. They're still going to try and push the Super League as a threat mechanism towards UEFA, to say, look, if you don't come out with a better deal for us or a better structure, we are going to be looking to move away, and very, very soon, because they're going to restructure their model in the Super League to make it better. I mean, how they thought that the way they structured it was going to work anyway was beyond me. I think this is just more of a, let's blast the speaker out, and let's let some waves out to everyone, especially UEFA, and signal it out and say, look, we're not happy, and we know there's going to be a recycle now in negotiations for the next contracts, all the contracts that are taking place. So that's my take on it, really.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed as well, and I'm glad you said that, because I just wanted to bring this up too. When we're looking at the announcement from the European Super League, they haven't even really said that they've finished all plans. They've just said that they want to try and re-look at their entire system and think if they need to change anything up. If you look here, it says European Super League is convinced the current status quo of football needs to change. We are proposing a new European competition because the existing system doesn't work. Despite the announced departure of the English clubs, forced to take such decisions due to the pressure out on them, we're convinced our proposal is fully aligned with European law and regulations, as was demonstrated today by a court decision to protect the Super League from third-party actions. Given the current circumstances, we shall reconsider the most appropriate steps to reshape their project, always having in mind our goals of offering fans the best experience possible while enhancing solidarity payments for the entire football community. So from the sounds of that, we might not have even heard the last of the European Super League.
No.
We've seen it fall apart right in front of our eyes. But would you guys expect to see another rendition of the Super League come around within the next few months? And even if that was to happen, how quickly would you expect people to jump on that? Because we've seen this happen behind everybody's backs. and
I would-
everyone just come in with the space of hours. This can't happen again because now everyone's going to be wary of it.
I would say very quickly before you guys carry on, because I have spoken. I would say that yes, they're going to act quickly on it because Real Madrid, those 4 clubs are in desperate need to do it. They need to do it, so they need to make it work before the contract signed by UEFA of the whole new Champions League restructuring. I would say that the seed has been planted now, and it's how they want to grow that seed. Sadly. That's the way I look at it, I think.
I think
that's all dependent on the 3 clubs staying, though, isn't it?
Well, they'll have to. I mean, what other choices Real Madrid got?
It doesn't have to be in this format, but they're definitely going to try something again. This whole Super League thing has been in the works for years. Like, they've been planning this for a long, long time. If you go back and look at old interviews from like Arsene Wenger and all these other people, they've been talking about this for like 15 years. So it's always been coming.
It was well planned, calculated, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I just want to highlight a comment. There's a guy called Jordan Dunagan. I'm not sure his last name, but yeah, he said, "Stop blaming others. We need to look at ourselves, look inside our club, and hold certain people accountable." And to be honest, I agree with him. Like, I get that we're all getting on the backs of Real Madrid because they did organize this, but the fact is, our club signed it, and to make it seem like, oh, Chelsea were reluctant and Roman was like coerced. Like, Roman's not going to get bullied by anyone. He's not. So we signed this because we wanted to be a part of it. So if Real Madrid are getting punished, then all of those clubs that signed that agreement should also be getting punished. Maybe not to the same degree, but to a higher degree. That's the way I see it.
You know, if there wasn't a protest yesterday, do you think Chelsea would have pulled out? That's the question you got to ask. Do they?
No, they wouldn't have.
Go on, Jimmy. Yeah, go on, Jimmy.
I don't think they would have pulled out because all the fans turning up gave them essentially gave us a voice, like giving our opinion, like we don't want this, and like literally as we were there, the announcement came out, so they knew that they were wrong when all the fans turned up. It was like I don't know, it was over 1,000 fans there.
I think it's 50-50.
I
think the fans might have accelerated it. But for me, I think this must have already been in the works before the fans turned up. Like, I wouldn't take it all away from the Chelsea fans because they made a massive statement yesterday, and that can't be underestimated. But I really don't think that it would have been 100% turnaround. I think this would have already been happening before.
How long before though, Lewis? Because they announced this on Sunday. They announced the Super League on Sunday.
Everything has gone quickly in the space of hours.
Yeah.
But to turn back on something that big, because the European Super League was not made in the space of days or something like that. This would have been months. This might have even been years. We won't know that for sure just yet. With that in mind, though, for something as big as to turn away from something like that, and to be the first club to do it as well, it definitely wasn't done as quickly as soon as the fans turned up. The club had.
Do you know what, Lewis?
It must have been before then.
The way that I look at it is this was like a really orchestrated tactic by the big clubs to get everyone to sit down at the table because no one was. UEFA weren't prepared to do it. FA, FIFA, no one's prepared to sit down and actually renegotiate a model or another strategy, and that's where the problem lies. So it's almost like this is the catalyst to have everyone sit down, because I don't think the Super League was ever going to really happen. I did personally think that. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but I just saw it as a really strong negotiation tactic or ploy to get all the big heads in the world football to actually sit down and discuss and manage out a proper deal, a fair deal, if you like. I don't know what you think of that, but that's kind of way I look at it, my perspective on it. Because no one's going to accept the Super League the way they structured it. It was just ridiculous. Didn't even make sense.
Yeah, but that's why low-key I was thinking if this continued, you'd see changes to the Super League format. Because the amount of pressure on it would at least force that sort of change. Rodrigo, I see your super chat as well. DM me on Twitter or on Instagram or DM me on anything and I'll send you the links. I'll send it directly to you. If you want it,
Lewis, can I say something? Because I need to go in
anyway. Go on, Wayne. Go on. So you guys.
Sorry, guys, because I need to go because I've got a really important phone call I need to take in a bit.
Yeah, no worries.
But I want to say quickly, I'm proud to say I'm a Chelsea fan for the actions we did yesterday. I was in tears of joy for the amount of years I've been supporting Chelsea. It's the most joyful moment I've had, seeing us join together and fight the good fight. But I want us, not just the Chelsea fans, I want us around the world now to join the fight against racism and equal playing rights at football, because that's our next step as well. Because it ain't just about this football league and all that. It's about us getting treated differently, because it shouldn't be like that. We're one, we're equal, and we deserve equal, equalised football, everything in the world. And we just showed yesterday that fans have a voice, and our voice should be heard. I said this the other day, football is passion. We are not just football. The reason why I said that is because football fans are the most passionate fans in the world. And because with passion, we show what is right in the world. And I think we should start doing that. And now I think this time is right, especially after yesterday, with that guy getting sentenced in jail for what he did wrong in America. It's now we need to start doing it all together. Let's show our stance. Let's stick together, and let's show that we are one. We're not individuals. And I want to say big up to the panel. Please follow everyone on the panel. Please listen carefully to everyone, because their points of views are exactly what we need to hear. And I'm someone who's been probably a lot older than these guys, and I've learned a lot listening to them. So I want you all to please listen to them. Smash that like button for Lewis, for bringing content for you every day and showing appreciation and love towards my friend. And please follow on Twitter. And big up to everyone. Big up in this chat. And have a good day, guys. And please, as well, watch Chelsea women later on beat Man City women to win the league again.
Go on, Wayne. That's it. Good boy,
all right.
man.
Yes.
Big up everyone.
Big up
You
Wayne.
take care of yourself.
Top boy.
Scott, you were going to say something as well, so go for it. Rodrigo, I'm just putting my Instagram in the comment section. Message me and I'll send you the links.
I think we would have pulled out, but I don't think we would have been the first club. I think City would have been, just based on all the stuff from their players like Mahrez, Cancelo, De Bruyne, among others, and what Pep said. I think City would have been the first one to pull out, but I would have seen us pulling out similarly to how Tottenham and Arsenal did it, where it was after a prolonged period of time. It was kind of an all-at-once thing with the 6 English clubs. So I think we would have pulled out eventually. But yeah, I don't think it would have been if without the fan protest. I don't think it would have
I reckon
it would have happened. It would have happened as quickly. I could have seen it even I could have seen even today. We're waiting on someone to pull out, or City pulling out today.
I think Jamie got that front row seat of that Peter Cech protest. I think after that point, I think Man City were like thinking about it to resign as well, because Chelsea was also like edging closer. By the time we walked back to the Britannia Gate, like everything is a domino effect. Like Chelsea start to preparing a withdrawal sign, and then a few minutes, about less than 10 minutes later, then Man City all of a sudden they say they withdraw from the ESL. So after that Peter Cech, I think Jamie got that front row seat for that Peter Cech's statement and that. But after that, at that point, it was a domino effect. So from Chelsea,
decision to come out, by the way.
Yeah, go on, Jamie.
Send them out there.
Go on, Jamie.
No. I was just reiterating what you said. I was just saying that we started the movement, innit? Last night, of all the clubs starting to withdraw.
Yeah, we'll start.
For sure.
We'll start by us. Everyone's going to say that we're the last club to have officially announced it. But
Listen,
we're the ones that had the
it's
first
on Sky
questions
Sports, yeah. Sky Sports. Last night I was watching it late at night. All right, and they've got a banner in the backdrop of the presenters, and on the banner it's got dominoes, right? And the first domino is a blue Chelsea domino, and that's the one that slants down, and then you got Man City next to it, and all the other clubs that followed suit. So it was Chelsea Football Club that pulled out first because of our fans protesting, and that's it. Anyone else who thinks differently, like the Arsenal fans, who come on Twitter and
The
give
reason-
it all the big un and all these people. It's not. It's Chelsea started it. Chelsea were the first. Just because we didn't get our statement out as quickly as Manchester City and all the other clubs doesn't mean that we weren't the first to pull out.
That's because we were playing the game last night as well, so
Exactly,
they didn't want to
exactly.
just announce it right on top of the game.
It's
They
too
wanted
much
to wait
pressure.
till the game was done and then start to announce it.
Yeah, bang on.
Rodrigo,
Also,
I
going back to your point about
still going.
whether it can continue, it can't. Just reading on BBC Sport and whatnot, Andrea Agnelli's come out and said that the Super League project won't continue, at least from his point of view.
Yeah,
they've
this
been forced to
iteration
say
of
that,
it.
haven't they? Otherwise, they look like
I don't
absolute
think it's any
villains.
iteration, just because the way you'd need to change it up for it to work is massive.
Scott,
And
they're
I
coming
think-
back. They're coming
I
back.
think they are, but like the problem is come next year when fans are in the stadium, revenue's starting to come back in, and all this is done. Yeah, it won't be to the same extent as what they would have got with this Super League, but all of a sudden, Barca have no reason to join. None of the Italian clubs, bar maybe Juve because of Agnelli, have no reason to join. None of the English clubs have any reason to join, apart from if the Glazers are still in charge and whatnot.
They have the reason
like-
to join because they don't
They
want to
do.
be governed by UEFA. This is the whole point. UEFA
No,
is
but
handling the system
You
right.
use you can use the guise of bringing money into these clubs to help them sustain themselves. Next year onwards, that's not possible because you're getting revenue in from match days, from
But
fans.
they never felt like they were getting enough. That's the thing I was saying. Like this Super League thing has been in talks before COVID even happened. These clubs feel like they are billion-dollar industries and they want to make more money than they are currently making. So they see other ways to do that through different types of leagues, and UEFA is just not funneling it right.
The problem is, like I said every time I've spoken about this, the current model for all the clubs and the UEFA set out, it's reached its maximum in what you can earn. Like they can't. The only way they can increase the earnings is by doing what they want to do with the Swiss model and adding extra games to the Champions League, so that they can renegotiate broadcasting deals, which will generate the money. But that's as far as you're going to go until your Adidas's and your Nikes and all these companies want to pay double what they're paying in sponsorship deals directly to the club. That's the only other way. The fans are always going to give you a certain amount of revenue when they're back in or when they're out. Like, you're going to get that revenue, but you still got to look at how can I make more as a business. And right now, this current model is I think this is why the Super League's happening, because even if things go back to normal, Real Madrid, it's going to take them absolutely 20 years to even try and get back to normal on a business scale. So they need to revamp that, speed it up. And the only way they were trying to speed it up was creating this stupid Super League. So I think there's a lot of negotiation to happen, a lot of restructuring to make it fair on the clubs. Let's have it right. The big European clubs they're the ones that are participating. Their whole infrastructure is supporting UEFA. Like, without them, UEFA don't make the money.
I feel like the problem with UEFA it's not just money as well. Money is a big factor in it because it's football. Money is always such a big factor in football. But there's plenty of other factors as well. You got to take into account the extra games that continue to get added to our seasons, which is impacting our players. You got to take it from a fan's perspective as well, like Chelsea Arsenal in the Europa League final, for example, where they put in Baku and it's closer to India than it is to England, but it's a European competition. Like, that doesn't make sense. Or Champions League finals, like the 2019 final, for example, where it's a 70-80k stadium, but there's 16,000 fans, 16,000 Liverpool fans, 16,000 Spurs fans, and about another 50,000 seats are being given to UEFA, being given to sponsors, being put out on deals, being given to brands. These are all the little problems that are all combining to create this issue. Mo, we'll come up to you as well, get your thoughts. What are you saying, bro? You haven't said anything yet.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And it's been actually really cool, listening to this and being on this side of the discussion. Finally, yesterday I felt so proud for football fans across the world, to be honest, to see the amount of power that we have when we can make our voices heard in the way in which we did. I think for me, that's always going to be such a key factor in being able to maybe even do more than what we've just done now. And I think what we've done now just shows us maybe a little bit of exactly what we are capable of when we put our voices together. I think I agree with Johnny quite a lot. I do think there needs to be a lot of like restructuring that needs to happen. And these clubs will come back in some way, shape or form with this type of ideas, because at the end of the day, this economic model that is currently standing does not fit their model. It does not fit how they are as big clubs. They cannot actually sustain what they have and how they've grown in massive size, because the way that things are set up currently, it's too favored to try and just distribute money equally, but also to distribute to money that people shouldn't be getting, like UEFA, like the Premier League, etc. For me, it's always not sat right with me when you look at it, that a Premier League winner is only getting 150 million when we know how much this league makes. I don't know about you guys, but it's just not sat well with me. And I think there are things that need to be questioned that haven't been questioned before. And I think if anything, it's probably going to start creating the discussion that needs to happen now to actually make this a model that allows teams to take more advantage of as they grow in size. Because what's happened is I think these clubs have all hit a ceiling. They've had to take money from their owners. I'm going to leave with the exception of especially the foreign clubs for now. But the Premier League clubs in particular, they've all hit a ceiling, in my opinion, with the way currently the economic model is. As for the foreign clubs, I think they're desperate. If you ask me, I think they're desperate, especially these Spanish clubs. The way they're currently set, Barcelona and Real Madrid see the writing on the wall, in my opinion. And because of that, that's why they feel the way they do. That's why they are part of this type of stuff, because they can see that they would, well, for example, Barcelona soon enough won't have Messi. So it's like, what are we going to do as a club? How are we going to compete? How are we going to be still relevant? And Real Madrid, honestly speaking, Real Madrid hasn't been the same for a little while. And although they are still there and about, they feel very much like they aren't as competitive as they used to be or as dominant as they used to be. And I think that's going to continue to be the case, especially if they're saying that they've lost as much money as they've done. That means they don't have as much pulling power. So again, for me, the way I look at it is also the Serie A clubs. It's been a financial struggle in that league for ages. Milan and Inter Milan and AC Milan are struggling to pay off deals that are like 24 mil. Like championship clubs have better spending power by the looks of it. So to me, that's crazy. But like, I can see now why clubs are all trying to join this thing and trying to make it so that they can maximize their revenue based on their name, based on what they've done in the past. And this is subject that's going to keep coming back unless something changes. And I think if UEFA don't wake up and smell the coffee right now, okay, cool. Maybe in 5 years' time, we're going to be having the same conversation, but maybe they're not going to be trying to ruin the football integrity and actually going to allow more clubs to take part of it. And then what are we going to do as fans? Because we're not going to look at it and necessarily say, well, this is not ruining football, because that was our biggest gripe as far as I could tell. Everyone didn't like the fact that other smaller clubs didn't have a chance to be part of this. But now imagine they change that aspect of it and actually make it a bit more fairer than what they introduced currently, and they didn't rush it and introduce it in the shady manner that they did. Imagine what that changes, because I think that's what's their biggest downfall, is how shady all of this stuff has come across. But yeah, that to me is the way I look at it right now. And I'm not someone of the belief that I like the ESL, but I could see why it's come about. I'm not, and there's no two ways about it. But to me also, I'm not under any illusion when it comes to UEFA, Premier League, Sky Sports, and all of these TV broadcasters. They're using us fans. And to me, I'm not falling for it. They're using us fans to try and actually say something. If they really cared about us, they're going to make bigger changes that allow fans to have more of a say or actually experience more of their club. If they are willing to do that, then I might actually trust what they're saying. But before that, bruv, it's billionaires fighting out, and they were so desperate they called out on fans to cause an uproar. That's what they've done, really.
Spot on. I would 100% agree with all of that.
Mo, you waited about 20 minutes to speak, and then you just spat.
Everything all at once, bro.
Yo, great to have you on as well, bro. You said you want top on as well, bro. What's your thoughts? That's to me.
All right. What are you talking about? Me lose or?
Fuck.
Rodrigo, bro. I don't know what's happening.
Beatboxing section,
bro.
You didn't need mine.
You just sent it to the Matrix.
So
We got more code or some shit.
I've had
I
That
got
was sick EDM music, bro.
I've thought about
Yeah, is that better?
I thought about
No.
this a lot.
Ooh.
No. Okay.
Rodrigo, bro, it's doing the
Rodrigo's
madness.
still in
It's doing
the
madness.
Super League
I'm sorry,
realm, man.
bro.
Yeah, where are you calling from, bro?
Yeah, he's in Super League realm.
I think it's Cosworth in disguise.
Yeah. So I've thought about how this all ends. What's the end game? And I know yesterday was a big win for the fans there locally, and now you have, of course, the 3 American owners. All the fans want them out. Okay. Everybody wants the money out of the game. They want their game back. Okay. They want the 50+1 rule. Okay. I'm guessing at least one of those things sounds good to at least one of you, right? The 50+1, getting some of the money out of the game, getting rid of some of these toxic owners. At least one of those things sounds good to at least one person on this panel, correct?
2 of those do, yeah.
Okay. So, of course, because I don't have my heart clouding my judgment sometimes on this, and not saying everybody here does, I looked at it from, well, what would happen if tomorrow you woke up and the 50+1 rule came in and these billionaire owners pulled out of the Premier League? Matter of fact, the billionaire owners pulled out across all the leagues in Europe. What would happen then? Well, I can pretty much tell you what's going to happen then. They're going to go to the United States, invest in the MLS, and then the best players in the world will play in the United States. Because if you think players are going to cut their salaries in half to stay in Europe when they can earn twice as much someplace else, you might get a couple, but you're having a laugh. How are you going to?
Do you think their marketability would raise the price and the income of football in general anyway? Because I get what you're saying, and everything you're saying makes perfect sense. Like, they go to America and they try and build up the MLS in the same way they built up the Premier League. But do you feel like the history of the Premier League and also the competitive nature that's already there, do you think that would raise any of those worries that you already have about money being dropped out of England and out of the European leagues?
Okay, well, let me put it this way. You're a teenager growing up in a favela in Brazil. You've got 2 teams scouting you. One's in the Premier League after all this has happened, and one's in the United States. The Premier League goes, we'll pay you $50K a week, and you get all our history. The people in MLS go, we'll pay you $150K a week. We don't have history. Where do you think that kid's going? He's going to make $150K.
It depends.
Can I add?
I do feel like it's a bit of both. You could make a decision for the MLS and it would be justified, but I feel like it also depends on what you really supported growing up to an extent as well. Because if you liked watching the Premier League growing up, if you idolized watching, let's say, Chelsea for Diego Costa, your fellow Brazilian, for example, or Liverpool for Roberto Firmino, maybe Thiago Silva as well. I'm using examples, but the point still stands. If you see your idolized players playing for those clubs, that could be a factor to you wanting to go there as well.
Absolutely. And you would get a few that would say, you know what, I want to go where my idol went. But if you, let's just take Holland. The money's gone. Holland wants a million P's a week. And the only people who can pay that money are in the States now. What does he do? Does he go, well, I'm just going to play for Real Madrid for a quarter of that because they're broke?
Yeah, but
or am I going to
go won't get that deal anyway.
Yeah, but
thank you.
He won't. Because he's $1 million a week. No player should be on $1 million.
Also, I think a lot of that comes from Raiola more than Haaland.
I understand. I'm using it.
The main point, though, is the integrity of the competition that you're playing for. because like the players will play in the World Cup and want to win the World Cup. They're not making a lot of money from winning the World Cup. You know what I mean? So it all depends on how well the MLS is built. Because, you know, we have this situation with China. There's some players that would take 20% of what China is offering them to go and play for Real Madrid because they want to play for Real Madrid. Right. So, yeah, there's that situation kind of already there.
Yeah, but you're looking at the near future. We're talking about going out 20 years. At what point does some of that history not matter as much when there's money on the table? I'm sorry. I could love a company as much. I could start my own company, raise it up. Somebody offers me enough money to set up my kids for life. I'm bouncing. I'll shut my company down because
you're right.
You're talking about wealth on a level that these kids could never imagine. And you know, I'm not saying this should happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm trying to give you the other side of it is the European game is addicted to money like a heroin addict. Okay? They've been addicted since 1992 when the EPL broke away from everybody else. When the Sky Sports signed the first big deal, there was more money in it. And then they're going around and going, well, we need to bring the best players in the world so we can justify these huge television contracts and sponsorship deals. Well, fan-owned clubs only have so much money. Dortmund only works because they buy a prospect, build them up, and then sell them on. They're a selling club. They haven't won anything. There's one team in the Bundesliga before the season starts. You know, Bayern's winning the Bundesliga. That's it. Yeah, there might be some that challenge them a little bit, but they have the most money and the best players. So there's one team in that league that dominates. La Liga, there's two. Atletico's kind of a 2B, but do they ever? I don't know if they're going to win it this year. And Real Madrid and Barcelona are average. Then you have Juventus. They are the ones that win Serie A almost every year. It's not going to happen this year because they chose a poor manager. But you have to understand, even in the Eredivisie, who wins it every year is Ajax.
Or PSV, or Feyenoord.
Well, lately, it's been Ajax.
PSV won it 2 years ago, and Feyenoord won it the year before that.
Well, you have to understand that the money's there. It's going to continue to be there. And if you say we want it all out, it's going to go someplace else. So are you going to be okay in 10, 15, 20 years with all the money out, looking at a product akin to the Eredivisie, to the bottom or mid half of what the Premier League is now? Or are you going to be okay with that, with all the superstars playing in a different league someplace else?
Cool. Can I respond to this?
Sure.
Unless someone else already had something to say.
I've got a couple of things, but you say what you want to say, Mo.
And I think Oscar said some of the stuff I was going to say. I think China just attempted what you're saying about the MLS, and the history behind MLS is nowhere near as powerful as what's in Europe. I think what you're underestimating here is, as much as money definitely is at play, and I will not dismiss that point because that's a great point. I think what you're dismissing is what players dream of, what players wanted to do since they were kids. And there are clubs that they wanted to play for. And if the money for me disappears from this game in terms of how it is right now, I think it just goes back down a level and it builds right back up again. But honestly speaking, I can't imagine for a second that MLS is going to commit with these billionaires for 20 years to try and have the best league in the world when they're so focused on immediate cash that they want right now. Like, I can't imagine these billionaires are going to be that committed, that they want a 20-year plan. They're going to say they're going to make the MLS the best league possible. That is where I feel like sometimes people dismiss things very, very quickly. Is these billionaires, the issue with some of them is that they want the money right now. They want their returns right now. And a 20-year plan, for me, seems unlikely something that they would be willing to commit to. And in terms of from a player perspective, I think someone like Haaland is definitely not going to get this deal that he's talking about, but it's because he knows how many good clubs want him right now. So his asking price just goes up. Simple as. It's a very good negotiating tactics. Plus, he has one of the craziest agents in the world. But honestly speaking, if he wants that money, the only way he's getting it is if he goes to China or if he goes to MLS. But then he has no competition, which means in reality, he just kills his own career that way as well, because he doesn't have the competitive nature. When is the last time someone that won the Ballon d'Or or was recognized as the greatest player was playing in those two leagues? Right. And I think for me, that kind of kills what you're saying. I get what you're trying to say, but I do think that there's a lot of history and tradition behind football, and there's a lot to do with the dreams of players that will keep the status quo intact. But the money part, I think even if it changes, these players love football and they love the competitive element of it. And I don't know if the MLS is ever going to offer that.
Well, I think as well, just to add on to that, two things actually. One, on just slightly off note, people saying that the MLS is dead in the comments, you genuinely have no idea. It's actually quite a decent league to watch. And in terms of the talent that comes out of the MLS, it's actually quite good. On a different point, though, I think one of the problems with it as well is the salary caps and the thing with like the DP rule, only having two designated players and a third young designated player. Stuff like that just makes it very difficult for some of these, even if some of these best players in the world or whatever, these good players want to go to the United States and play in the MLS. There's stuff like the salary cap and the DP rule just makes it difficult for them. So then they go to the other leagues. They go to the Premier League, the Bundesliga, the Eredivisie, the Serie A, La Liga, etc. And I think, as Mo said, there's just some kind of want for these players to play in these big leagues, to play in the Premier League, to play in the big leagues across Europe, playing for some of the bigger clubs in the world because of the sort of the history and the image it brings. That's why players want to play for Real Madrid. It's the history, it's the image they have playing for Real Madrid. It's being a Galactico. It's all these things, even without money.
Well, just to come back on that, first of all those rules were introduced because when the MLS started up in 1996, what we call soccer in America was the fourth or fifth most watched sport in the country. Now it's up to 3. It's the third most watched sport in the country. And I'm using MLS as just another league, a league where, other than the leagues we're talking about now. What I'm saying is, in 10 years, if Real Madrid had, because they're 900 million in debt, if they don't win La Liga or a UCL title for 10 years, okay, that kid growing up, that's maybe 6 now. Well, where's that history for the 10 years of his life? It's not there. So it's cyclical in nature. My point is, not to say this would ever happen, but the money was brought in. You're not going to get the money out now because the players want the wages that they're used to getting. So you're going to tell Harry Kane, well, we're going to do all this, but you have to take your 50% pay cut. Well, how many of you are going to take a 50% pay cut? None of you.
Football's hit ceiling now. I mean, it's not going to go down. It won't go down. Football won't go down, and the owners ain't going to leave because they're not going to get their money back. So they need to make their money. Like if Roman Abramovich leaves, we owe him like how many billions, man?
Yeah,
at least.
Do you know what I mean? So what? He's gonna flip in, just go, yeah, I'm leaving, and then wait for you lot to pay me back.
Well,
no chance.
I'm just responding to some of the.
All right, fair enough. But I'm just saying, like the owners won't leave. They just. It's not profitable in any way for them to leave. If anything, they're making money off the club. They'll continue to do that. I think where the problem lies is you can't inflate football too much than what it already is, because football right now is like wages are ridiculous. You're slowly creeping up now to sort of 300 grand being your average wage. You know what I mean? Like 250 grand, 300 grand, and Messi's on what 700 grand a week, close to. So like, arguably he's the greatest player on the planet, but he's on 700 grand. So anyone who gets near to that level is going to be like, well, he was getting that, especially at Barcelona. I want that, if not more. If
There's a reason for Messi, though.
But you're making my point, Johnny, is nobody thought there would ever be a $10 million transfer at one point in time until it happened. Nobody thought there'd be $100 million transfer ever until it happened.
Well, you got to blame PSG for that. PSG completely. Well, they tarnished the transfer window. The moment they went and bought Neymar, the transfer window completely blew up. No, I don't want to hear it. It blew up. They paid. Well, how much did they pay for Neymar then?
170.
170 million, and that was how many years ago?
Years
he's been there now.
4 years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years.
5 to 6
4
years, I'd say. Yeah.
I don't think it's been 6.
All right. So since before that, transfers were not what we're talking now. A fact. They would never go.
But can I say, Johnny? People saying the same argument about Chelsea and stuff. How we brought money into the game.
But
back then, in 2004.
Back then it was a creeper, but it's not as big as 100. Like your biggest transfer was like
it was always right.
Then was 50 million.
It was always right.
I mean, 60 million, and then it went. That's over double, man. That's triple.
Right, but it happened. So you've set a precedent.
So PSG have just come in, all right, and they've done that. The damage was done. The transfer market structure was tarnished when PSG made that deal. And then they bought Mbappe as well for another 118 million as well. So,
but they loaned him in first, just so you know. They loaned him in and then paid it off. Yeah.
Yeah, but they still paid them. It's still the transfer of over 100 million. Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct.
So now that the whole structure, any other club looking at that, going, if I've got my prized asset at my club, why they can sell Neymar and Mbappe for over 100 mil? I'm going to sell my player for over 100 mil, and that's it. The benchmark's set. So now all clubs around Europe, all the top clubs, are forced to pay high wages either to keep their players, like Ozil did to Arsenal and Sanchez. Right, Sanchez went to United, and United wanted Ozil as well, and Ozil was prepared to leave. But the only way Arsenal could keep Ozil, because they would have lost in January, they would have lost Sanchez and Ozil, their two prized assets in the January transfer window, without being able to get anyone else in of that quality. They were forced to pay him 300 grand a week. That's not Ozil's fault. That's Ozil's agent doing a great job of getting him a deal to stop him from leaving. But this is my point. It's like it's all false now. Like you're not going to get a Haaland for less than 130-40 million. For a 20-year-old kid.
Exactly.
Minimum. Harry Kane is worth more, in my opinion, than Haaland because he's proven and he's at his peak.
So, but again, Johnny, that's everything you said is a fact.
I get that, but what I'm saying, Jester, is that everything's hit ceiling now. They can only earn up to what they're earning now. They can't earn any more.
Yes,
and that's
they can.
Why. How?
You can go through the history of the Premier League. You had the first $1 million person. You had the first $10 million person. You had the first $50 million person, 100 million, 150 million. Soon you'll have the first 200 million, 250 million. It doesn't reduce unless you put caps on things. Unless you say you can't pay more than this legally for a transfer. It will continue to go up.
Yeah, but that's transfer. I'm talking about generating money. Clubs do not just generate money from transfers because you've got wage structures in there as well. That all takes play, agent fees, all this stuff, right? That we don't see. But what I'm saying to you is the model the way it is now, like even if the only way you can make more money is if the broadcasters are going to pay more money, argument's sake, all right? But the way it's structured now, the percentages will still be the same for the Premier League and UEFA. They're going to make their same percentage, and you're going to get a slight increase because the broadcasting rights and payouts are higher. But that's as far as you're going. You can't. Where else are you going to get your money? Because everywhere else is at its limit.
Inflation, Johnny. Inflation.
Yeah, I know inflation, but it can only go up so much. It can only go up so much to the point where a club you're completely going to eliminate. Like, you won't have a big 10 clubs. You'll have like big 3 clubs, and that's it. That can basically monopolize, which is essentially what they were trying to do.
Well, that's what the 15 that were supposed to leave were. They're the 15 clubs worth the most in the world. I went and actually researched why that 15 was chosen when you saw the first 15 with Dortmund and with Bayern in there. It's the 15th most 15 clubs worth the most money. So that's what but that's their market value. You can't change that. It is what it is. The money was let in. You let the devil through the door, and now he's going to do his work. Okay, it's like inviting a thief to your house and then being surprised that your silverware's been stolen. You let him in.
I get
because I get what you're saying, and you're right, because essentially it is like a business, like it's become business-like. But even in business, there are checks and balances and legislations that are put in place to stop monopolies from happening. A business that grows so big can still go bankrupt if they don't look after certain aspects of their like business. So I always felt like, yes, there's money in football, but if these owners are not looking after their accounts, then the money side is going to be messed up. But if they're also not looking after the football, then they can fall down the relegation table and they can lose money that way as well. And I think those two, like, you can't just make a league where you take away any financial loss from football side, which is unfair on the other teams. And when you mentioned all the market value and the market share of those teams, that's fine. But Tottenham are only in there because of what they've done in the last 5 years. And they tried to guarantee that, but for the next 23 years, which means, like, literally, those teams fluctuate every year. Every year, it's a new 15 teams that is the top. The bottom 2 go out, another 2 come up. Another team wins a trophy, their stock rises. Another team, falls down the league and their stock goes down. So the Super League in its iteration was extremely unfair. And I think that's why there was such a huge backlash. But if there was another Super League that they came out with without the same relegation laws, I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it. I think the clubs need to do what they need to do.
There's ways they can do it. I said this before. There's ways they can do it that works. Number one, it needs to be run by football people, not the wankers that were running it with this one. But I think as well, like Oscar said, I think one of the problems as well is the 5 teams that fluctuate every year with what they planned, they get significantly less than all the founding clubs, which should never be the thing. Because if you're getting significantly less than the people that always get in it, then you're always going to drop out of it every year. It's like, what's the point? Like, if you're just getting a year's worth of significantly less money than everyone else, like it's the waste of time. You might as well play in the Champions League every year.
And I think
consistently get in the Champions League every year and consistently get the same amount, or, maybe fluctuating a little bit depending on where you get to in the Champions League, but you get roughly the same amount of money every year.
Well, I understand that, and the Super League as it's proposed is pretty much dead.
Take care of hopping on, man.
What I'm saying is the future of football is going to continue with the money.
That's the thing.
Going to, whether you like it or not, it's going to happen that way because it's an addiction.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever take the money out of football.
Football's a business. End of. It's a business now. It turned a business years ago. So it's about getting the balance between business.
Yeah.
And you know how they do that in
what the football represents, what it means to every country all around the world, all the people. All right?
Johnny, go back on that. Your connection just faded for a sec.
Yeah. Oh, so I was saying we need. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
So
it's about getting a balance between the business side and the culture side. All right, and the culture side being the fans, the club itself, football itself, what it stands for. And then you've got the business model. Right now, the business model, when you go and set up a business, you need a business plan. That business plan is an old business plan right now that we're currently under. But football's evolved. There's been inflation, and right now that model is literally on its last legs. And the Super League has come in to scream at UEFA and all the other companies, business figures, to say, look, it's falling apart. We can't continue like this. We're literally going to collapse. So until we restructure and come up with a new business plan, we can get our balance back instead of it being all focused about only business. And right now it's only about business. The fans, they couldn't give a shit about 2 days ago. They couldn't care less. It was all about making sure that business can survive. And we all get that as fans. We all understand that. But the bottom line is you need balance, and the balance was not there. I just feel that the culprits, whether we like it or not, are still UEFA. They are creaming everyone. They are stubborn as fuck, all right? And they're not willing to negotiate and make deals fair. And that's the bottom line. And that's why all the European clubs are getting pissed with it.
But what do you feel about what the Super Chat's saying? Because he's saying you can't blame sellers for the price because buyers will still pay regardless. That's been the big selling point throughout football over the last 10, 15 years.
But that's not really what I'm trying to say. Look, at the end of the day, if someone wants to pay 180 million for Kane, then they're going to pay 180 million for Kane. If that's the price, that's the price. We all listen. If you're an antique dealer and you've got something and it's worth a lot of money and you're selling it for, you might go down 20%. You're still making a nice profit, right? You're going to say 100's that's my price, and you're going to come in and say, look, I'll give you 80. And you might say, no, 100's my price. And you might get that 100 for it. Or someone might come along and not give you 100. They'll give you 95. And you might take the 95. That's just business for you. That's just the way it is. We all have in our minds, we all have what we want to sell, what the price we have. All right? It doesn't mean you're going to get that. It never means you're going to get that. It's there to be negotiated. But
I think it depends. I don't necessarily agree with the bit with the fact that you can't blame sellers. Just because if it's a hot commodity, then you can. Because someone like a Haaland, for example, Dortmund can basically dictate what they want to sell him for. Because, maybe not Haaland because of the release clause, but without the release clause, they can dictate exactly what they want to sell him for. It's the same with like Maguire for Leicester and like Chilwell. They could dictate exactly what they wanted to sell him for because they had no reason to sell them, and they know that teams wanted them.
It's another Neymar.
Exactly what it's different if you're trying to sell someone that no one wants. Then you can't dictate the price.
Haaland's another Neymar situation.
That people want, then you dictate the price absolutely. Because if people don't pay it, it's like with Rice. They've got no reason. West Ham have got no reason to sell him, but Chelsea and United want him, possibly other teams. So they can go, you got to pay us 100 mil, or we're not selling him, and they can dictate that because they know that he's wanted.
Yeah. So. I just, my points were that a lot of people have been out there, again, thinking with their heart that we want to go back to where it was and the money coming out of the game. And I just wanted to point out that it's never going to happen because the players are now addicted to the money. The fans are addicted to the money. We've sat here talking about transfers not too long ago about, hey, we're going to pay 150 million for Haaland because you want to see Haaland play for our team. So the fans want the best players in the world. So they want the clubs to go out and splash the cash for those people. So the fans, to a certain extent, are also addicted to the money because they want to see the best players play for their team. So it's going to continue that way. And if you don't think in the next 5 years, you're going to have $1 million a week player, you're wrong. You will. Because it's going in that direction.
Football's accustomed us to thinking, because I feel that's more 50-50 in itself. Like, people want the most expensive players because you feel like the most expensive players are the ones that are going to guarantee you those trophies. But I feel like also through some fans, they don't necessarily want the best players. They want the players that fit their system best as well, because football's become a lot more system orientated over the last 5-7 years, and now I don't feel like it's as easy as you get a 150 million Haaland, you're winning the Premier League. No, because you still need like players that fit you in certain roles as well.
But if Chelsea gets 150 million Haaland, we're winning the Premier League.
But Lewis, in fairness, it's never been that easy. The way it is now. Like you're saying, a team could buy Haaland and not win the league. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Like Blackburn Rovers spent a lot of money, bought in Alan Shearer and all these players. They won the league, and then after that, they kind of went back down. So it's always been a risk.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, I think eventually you will just get to a point where the natural fee for a player is 100 million, and players are being paid £100,000 or whatever Jester said it was. Like, you will see these players it's only going to ever get bigger in terms of the value, because their prices will only ever get inflated. Like we've seen it where you go back and look at like the biggest transfers from years ago. Like Zidane only went for like, he didn't even go for that much, did he? In the grand scheme of things.
Chelsea women.
50 million, yeah, and it's like you've got Rice being quoted as 100 million this year, and it's like they're not comparable players, but it's just how it's inflated over the years.
Breaking news: Real Madrid midfielder Valverde has tested positive for COVID-19.
He's an amazing player. He is. I love Valverde.
So Valverde's going to be out, and we're hearing potential knocks for Modric and Kroos as well. Oh my god!
Sorry,
we're going.
No, guys. This is why
I don't celebrate someone with.
Johnny, don't do this.
Listen. Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what? The dream is happening. The dream is
Johnny,
happening.
Johnny. I say that's chillness because
everyone's going to root for Chelsea. Yeah, everyone's going to root for Chelsea to win this.
Too ahead of myself and everything.
Come on, you.
Johnny, you say everybody. A lot of rivals, and definitely not rooting for.
Oh, Louis.
Yeah, there's not going to be that many.
Oh my god!
How are they going to fill?
Reload it.
To me, it don't matter if it's Modric or even.
You saw it here first, lad.
I'm still saying we're going to beat him
Where
anyway.
Where did you not hear about this Modric one? Because I've heard
Beautiful.
the Tony Kroos one. I didn't hear anything about Modric.
I don't know. When do we play him?
Lewis, I can't. You're
Next week,
mate.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
Lewis, yeah. Put your
Lewis, you're
microphone
on
close
mute,
there.
You're not muted. Bring your mic.
You sound like you're talking behind the pillow then.
Away. We're away first.
We need to get a mic stand for Lewis, bro. This is not fair, bro.
Yeah, being away for me,
Yeah,
being
need to
away
bring up
first
close.
is definitely the best way. I love being away first.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it set up perfectly for us. It really did. We got the best draw.
I will say
we got to wait.
This is the best chance we've got to beat them,
To win it.
with Kroos
To
and
win
Modric and Valverde potentially being out.
A lot of people don't rate Valverde for some reason.
No Ramos, no Varane, at least for the first.
No Ramos.
Wait, what? I thought he was
swear
injured only
Ramos
for the. I thought he was only out for the. No, I think isn't. I swear Varane's back because Varane was COVID, and so that's why he missed the Liverpool game. So I swear he's back for this.
Yeah, but COVID tax, innit? We'll see how good he plays.
Wait, I thought they can't enter the. I thought they can't enter the Champions League unless that guy goes. What's his name?
Well, that we don't know. UEFA need to come out and say something. But if
They're not
do
gonna
play,
do that.
they aren't kicked out.
First of
But
all,
he can't come back surely because he's the main guy.
Who the hell are they going to play in that midfield?
Isco.
God.
Asensio.
How did they do on the weekend? Does anyone know?
They did draw a game recently. I remember.
Yeah, they got a match tonight, by the way.
Yeah, they drew on Sunday and they've got a match tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see who they field tonight and we'll see how it goes.
We need
To me,
that's all I know.
I wanted Real Madrid over Porto anyway. When we beat Atletico, I was looking for Real Madrid.
Oh.
Yeah. But now we got him, so.
Be careful. Vinicius really stepped up this season.
No, like
Yeah, but if he's not getting, but if he's not getting the ball from midfield, where's he?
Yeah, he probably get locked up in that 80.
Do you want, by the way, do you guys want the full absentee list that they've got from tonight? So I don't know if this will be for when we play them.
Yeah, wait, if you got spaces left though.
Johnny, hold it together, yeah, bro.
So this is
I'm
who they've
ready.
got
I've
out
been
from
saying
tonight.
it since we topped our group.
Right. You're right.
So they've
Johnny want Vinicius in that Mason Mount penitentiary. Sure.
Oh, well,
they've
everyone.
got-
Oh, Modric.
They've got Modric and Cruz out, Valverde, Vazquez, Ramos, and Mendy.
Wow.
and Mendy.
Yeah.
Ooh. And also, if you have one person test positive for
What they got? Marcelo in there.
Yeah, they'll have Moss. If they're all those players are out,
Pray
they'll
we
have
have a fast guy
Marcelo,
on him.
Varane, and Militao probably, and Carvajal at right back.
Yeah, Carvajal.
Then Casemiro.
We need to put someone fast and tricky on Marcelo then.
They'll probably. I don't know who they have at midfield. Definitely Isco and Casemiro. Maybe move Asensio back and put Rodrigo out on the right. Jesus Christ. Honestly, this is the best
know
chance.
what?
If all those players are out, this is the best chance we'll ever have.
You've got to play Billy Gilmore now. Billy Gilmore.
No.
Can we
Sorry,
go
Johnny.
back?
Let's
we
not
go-
do that.
Can we
Guys,
go
what's
back
the
to Kovacic,
situation
please?
with Kovacic?
He'll be
No,
back.
we need Kovacic for that game.
Yeah,
He'll
no,
be
but
back.
what's the
Make it.
situation? What's happened to
I
him?
don't know if he'll make it.
He
The
has
first
he
leg.
had a small pull in his hamstring, I believe is what it
For
was.
me, if there's no Kovacic, Kante and Jorginho.
Yeah,
And
that's what
if you
it'll
can't, and if you can't have Kante and Jorginho, then maybe Kovacic and Jorginho. No, who am I saying? Gilmore. Crap. Yeah,
Oh, no,
Gilmore.
Gilmore
I
won't
said
see
this
the
anyway. If regardless of who's fit, Kante and Jorginho need to play anyway because Real Madrid aren't going to press us. They don't press, especially with Isco in the midfield. They're not pressing.
We need
So-
Kante. We need Kante.
You need Kante and Jorginho in that midfield, regardless of who's
The
fit.
destroyer.
or maybe Conte and Mount.
No, God, no.
No, I want
No,
Mount more forward.
No.
Let's not
Mount-
have. I told you before.
Put money anywhere.
We're not having. We're not having Mason Mount at DM again. I don't want it.
Yeah. Put money.
He-
We're
Mason
doing him a
front,
disservice.
He actually has played well at DM in 2 games.
He has.
We've won,
But
Yeah.
look,
He's played
but he
well.
had a different part.
We're
He had
limiting him.
Kovacic
I
for
He can
one.
play false left back, false right back
Just,
as well.
just what 2 games are at?
Crystal Palace, he played the end of the game with Conte. And then I want to say under Frank, he played with Kovacic. I remember we won because they interviewed Mount after the game. And he said, yeah, we got together and I told Kovacic to kind of sit and let me go forward. I cannot
Yeah.
I
remember.
remember that game.
And
I
Sheffield
remember that
United.
game.
It was
Sheffield
Fulham.
United. He
It was
played
Fulham.
the pivot second
Was that
half.
Fulham?
Yeah, Fulham. In the second half, he went into the pivot, which is him and Cover, and then we brought on all the attackers to play in the wide positions. And then he went forward and scored. And then they were like, "How did you score from the deep position?" And he was just like, "I told Cover to sit."
So,
No.
and I was half joking. To
I
see
will
what Johnny
say,
would
someone
say.
put it in the chat. If Marcelo's playing, I agree with them. Pulisic needs to be on the right wing. If Marcelo plays,
Yeah. Like we need someone tricky.
Yeah, but guys,
and
Pulisic's
fast.
not as effective on the right as he is on the left, though.
I know,
know,
but
but
we
even
need
so,
we need
he's
someone
the
on the
best at
right
taking
who's gonna be
players on.
quick and stuff. We can't. I like Ziyech, but we can exploit.
Pulisic drifts in the middle as well. He causes problems. He
We can
just
have.
let him drift.
I stick Werner on the right over like still as well. Like he'd be
God,
outpacing him.
God,
I just
no.
No,
don't
but
see Ziyech. I don't
No,
see
but Werner
Ziyech.
actually but in all fairness, Werner does actually perform against the big teams
Well,
more than the
He
smaller
performs
teams.
when you use him in a certain way.
Yeah, I'm not saying we should start Werner on the right because he won't play good there.
We just need another Mason Mount player. We need another one of them. Yeah, we get another Mason Mount.
Who's
and
their right
we're
back
sorted.
for that game?
Kazzy's
Oh,
right.
wow.
Johnny's Brexit sexual though. Kazzy's right though.
Who?
Who's that gonna be their defense?
Kazzy's right. Johnny, you're a Brexit sexual.
Kazzy's a waffler, Pata. Let's have it right.
If all
What
their
are you talking
players
about?
I mentioned,
Kazzy always makes sense.
Kazzy loves his beans on toast, man. Let's have it right.
but yeah, Chris, if all the players I mentioned are out, their back four will have to be Marcelo, Varane, Militao, and Carvajal,
Oh,
or
jeez.
Nacho instead of Militao.
Yeah, that.
no, it'll be Militao over Nacho. He's better.
I think so as well, but just in case. But that's
Yeah.
a bad back line. Like Varane's decent.
We
but he's had a
should be
shocking
getting
season.
a goal or two past that back line. At
Oh,
least.
Also,
Well, we
That's
don't have to score
terrible.
goals, so I don't know about that.
No,
So
I'm calling it. Mount's going to score 2 goals.
Nah.
Which on
I
in
think
one
Matt
game?
get a goal maybe,
Both
but
legs.
not two.
Both legs. Both legs.
Oh,
okay,
okay. So
okay.
one for each. I can see that.
Yeah. 1 for each.
Okay, I can see that.
Mount does score, but he doesn't score tons of goals. And all fairness, who else scores
when
tons?
we get in the final, we score in the final when we win it, and then he's got to get Ballon d'Or for that. That's the way I look at it.
Johnny, you know I backed like we'll go win the Champions League, but there's always one worry if we get to the final experience with some of these players. But I believe they can get done.
We've Jorginho, we've got Kovacic, we've got Kante, we've got Aspilicueta,
Silva,
Thiago Silva.
We've got all these players.
We've got Mendy. We've got Maybe not
Mendy.
He's
older. He's got experience in Navy football, but he wasn't actually a footballer for like 3 years. He was like unemployed for football at one point. I'm pretty sure.
I wouldn't put it past. I wouldn't put it past Alonso scoring a winning goal or something stupid.
We're not having Alonso play that game.
I don't want to see Alonso on the field. It's got to be chili beef.
Thank you. Thank you. Chester, I'm agreeing with you finally.
Thank you.
Like
I can't stand Alonso. No way.
He's done all he can. Been getting.
Did you not see Alonso yesterday? What did he bring to our side, honestly?
Absolutely nothing.
Bro.
Fear. But then again, no one brought anything in that game, so...
I can't the game was a piss take yesterday. It was just like the same old against Leeds United.
I think Brighton were well set up, man.
I'm a massive Zuma fan, but like Zuma does annoy me a little bit at times where he loses the ball and doesn't run back. Like
it's the same problem, Chris.
He doesn't know the basics of football. He's good in the air and he can do certain things, but he doesn't know.
He can do good tackles too.
Why is he in the middle? Like someone explain that part to me. Why is he in the middle of that 3?
I can, because if he plays on either side of the center back, he has no cover. If he's playing in the center, you have somebody to the left and somebody to the right that can cover for him. Because when he plays, he's played on as left center back. He gets skinned every time because you have to have really good pace on either side.
It's not just the pace though, Chris. It's the footwork. Because if he gets done, he's on the half turn and he can't shift his legs to get round. He's fast. It's not about a pace issue. It's a footwork issue. Like,
if you look at him and Rudiger, the difference, Rudiger is able to maneuver himself a lot better than Zuma. If Zuma gets turned, he's not catching, whereas Rudiger has the chance to catch up to him and he has the chance to. He's got the. He's a bit rash at times, but he's got the concentration to know what's around him most of the time, where Zuma doesn't do that. Zuma doesn't know what's going on around him.
Scott, just to add to your point as well, like I do feel like he's just not used to a 3 at the back. Zuma, every time I've seen him 3 at the back, he just looks uncomfortable. He looks like he doesn't know what he's meant to do. He doesn't know where he's supposed to be. And now when we put him in that middle of the 3, the issue I have with it is that's usually one of the guys that has the ball the most for us. And I'm like, his build-up play is not really that impressive to me. And I like Christensen or Silva to be there. Yeah. So to me, it's actually quite annoying when I see it because I'm just like, I love Zuma, but I'm like, I can see 3 at the back. You just don't work in the system.
I think that's the thing as well. Like we've said, like with the being on the wide centre backs, you have to have a certain thing. But if you're being that centre back, you have to have the concentration in terms of you're the leader of that back 3 because you can see everything. But Zuma's not that guy. Christensen's that guy. Silva's that guy. Zuma's not that guy where he's not going to give a whole perfect picture to. He's going to see the whole picture and be able to dictate play. He's not that guy. But then he also can't play as a wide.
Zuma's got 2 left feet, man.
Also,
got 2 left feet.
Do we all agree now that Chelsea's not a very creative team and we're not good at creating chances going forward?
Yeah, no. Absolutely.
Because I remember saying that a few weeks ago and people were like, no. But explain it to me, Jester. What's wrong with our system then?
There's nothing actually wrong with the system. How many starting lineups, different starting lineups, have we played this year?
Yeah, they haven't consistently played with each other.
Right. And how many goals have we missed that we should have scored?
A lot.
So many.
I mean, Werner alone, 10, 15?
No, but like, of course, we can look at Werner and all he's done all this season. But I'm just looking at since Tuchel's come in, and let's say the last 10 games, like, what's the pattern that's been going on recently? We haven't been creating a lot of chances that we should be scoring.
Well, I think we did Crystal Palace pretty well.
Yeah.
However, Everton.
When you know why I think that is tough.
But look at the teams we've been playing. They sit back.
Low
Okay.
blocks.
It's low block teams, and it's very hard to break them down. And if you don't have the chemistry with your teammate to know exactly what run they're going to make in a certain situation, it's very, very hard to break a low block down.
And that's why Frank Lampard struggled at the start of the season, because there's too many players to basically bed in and try and gel and create a bit of consistency.
Lampard still made mistakes.
On top of that, you've had all the injuries and inconsistencies of players coming in and out of the team. And Tuchel's kind of had that as well, but he's been a bit more fortunate in the sense that when he's come in, these players have actually come back from injury. So he's had Ziyech, Pulisic to choose. He's had Havertz to choose and integrate and rest Werner and not have to play Werner every single game because you've got no Pulisic, no Ziyech or Odoi, essentially. Do you know what I mean? So you've got all those aspects as well.
You talk about injury things. I did thought, like, to me, I still backed Lampard, but, like, he messed up in the Arsenal game, like, not force him, but, like, getting Chilwell and Reece James to play in that game when they had injuries.
I can't lie.
There's definitely a fit.
That defeat is coming anyway.
And
wow.
the players were awful, all of them. They were awful.
Yeah.
No, they was all awful too, in all fairness, but it's the fullbacks in that game was definitely, I noticed, like, it was lacking, and I can tell the injuries was affecting them in that game when they had their previous injuries. Like, Chilwell had an injury. We talked about surgery at one point, but he didn't have it.
And let's not get it twisted. Frank Lampard might be the greatest player to ever play for Chelsea. Because other people will put other people there.
Did you know he was in that melee yesterday?
He was what?
He was in that protest though. Do you know that?
He was.
I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that reported anywhere.
What? Frank was there?
Nah.
Yeah.
Huh?
He was in that melee.
Not.
No, Lampard weren't there.
No, they were just chanting Super Frank.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
Because I saw someone took a selfie with Frank Lampard. Though.
No, that was a picture that came out today. Somebody he wasn't at the
Whoa.
So let me finish my Lampard point here. He might have been the greatest player ever to play, but he was not a very good manager. The only reason we made top 4 his first season was because of the suspension of the league. Had we not had that suspension of the league, we would have not been in the top 4 because we got players back from injury.
I don't think that's fair.
I think
that's fair.
Listen. Frank Lampard proved that he was a top manager. All right, with no experience, coming from Derby in the Championship, almost getting them promoted, taking up youth from Chelsea and Liverpool to build that Derby side, who are very close to being promoted. Then he's coming to a transfer ban and losing your best player. All right, not being able to imprint your own philosophy on the team, with no experience to come into a club, not just a Premiership club, but Chelsea Football Club, a massive club that you've played and you know. All right, where no other manager wanted to take responsibility and said, "See you later." All right, you got to give credit. You got to give credit to Lampard that he managed to get us top 4, regardless of how the other teams performed and their lack of performing. At the end of the day, that's not. We look at what we did, and we did enough to get top 4 and just progress us to where we.
What do you mean by? I was going to say, what do you?
The point you made about him being like our players getting back and having a bit of a rest and all of that. You could say the same thing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Man United were not going to be in that top 4 before the restart. They got their act together after it, and then they picked up on the same points. So I don't think that's fair.
Okay, so how many?
I was going to say, what do you mean by top manager? Like with the likes of, like, the top managers in the league, or top young manager? Like Lampard, you said top manager. Do you mean as a top young manager, or?
I'm saying you're a top manager for someone who's got no experience to fall back on.
Yeah, a young manager.
At the level you're talking, elite level.
Yeah, elite.
Of being a manager, managing Man United, managing Chelsea, Liverpool. They are elite clubs, whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter what position they're in. They're massive clubs. They're the biggest clubs in England. So Lampard's got no experience. He's not going to turn down a 3-year contract with Chelsea.
course
He's
not.
taken that with the belief that he can actually succeed. And in my opinion, he succeeded in his first season. He succeeded where it got difficult and where he had no experience to fall back on was when he had his bad patch and implementing these big money signings into what he already had. And that's where he struggled.
Here's my last point. Here's my last point because I gotta get ready for work. He was going to be fired in the summertime. The only thing that saved Frank was the top 4 that he got in the top 4. If he had not, they were going to sack him in the summertime.
How sure are you about that?
That's what was reported.
Why give the man a 3-year contract then?
To bond the fans because Sarri was toxic. It was bad, man. It was bad.
Why give anybody a 3-year contract and then sack them?
The reason why I say why give a 3-year contract when he's inexperienced, he's had 1 year as management, and you're giving him a 3-year contract. Surely they wouldn't be expecting maybe top 4 with inexperienced transfer ban. Eden Hazard.
They wanted it. Look, the board wanted top 4, all right, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it in the condition the club was in. All right, when Sarri got us won us the Europa League, and he got us 3rd position. All right, that was with Hazard, fantastic. We just about did it. We just about did it with Hazard. Just right. Take Hazard out of that, your squad is not a top 4 side. All right, whether you like it or not, you're not a top 4 side. So he's taken a team that's maybe 5th, 6th, 7th position team. All right, in the current condition it was in without Hazard, and got them top 4 to allow us to go and spend big and get the Havertzes and the Werners who want to play Champions League football. But you've got to take into consideration everything he's had to take on: the COVID, the injuries, the new players, the lack of experience that he's got to fall back on. Ollie's got 10 years of experience to fall back on as a manager. He's still managed. Lampard hasn't. He's very early in his managerial career.
What annoys me when it comes to Lampard is exactly what Jester said. Like, he was lucky to get top 4. The thing that annoys me about that is that if you don't rate him as a manager,
we played good football.
Let me finish. If you don't rate him as a manager, that's fair enough. But when he accomplishes something, you can't take the thing away that he accomplished because it doesn't work the other way around. Frank Lampard got to the FA Cup final and he got very, very unlucky. You don't say, oh, he was unlucky to win the FA Cup. But when he does get the top 4, you're going to say he didn't deserve to get the top 4 or he got lucky there. So it doesn't work either way. Once you accomplish something, you've accomplished it. And I think he deserves the credit for it.
The downfall, though, was he tried to play his own system. In the first season, it was a lot of freestyling, like switching it up here and there, playing different systems, playing different formations, trying stuff. As soon as he went to trying his own system and trying to implement his own system, it fell apart. Yeah. Completely fell apart.
Oh, by the way, have Chelsea issued an apologize letter or something today?
Yeah, yes, Monster, love that.
Only
minerals, man.
Only 2 clubs have actually issued apologies.
United.
Big up Breck with the super chat saying, Frank, we always scored under Tuchel, we don't concede.
Not really sure.
Yeah, go on, Scott. United. What's the second club, Scott?
United haven't. The only 2 clubs are Arsenal and Liverpool.
United just have.
Oh, just have 3 clubs.
They've just done an open letter from Joel
Glazer apologises to the man.
Then 3 clubs. Arsenal did, Liverpool did. Jesus. And
is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, your AirPods are moving bare slow. It sounds like you're a robot.
Still. Move your Apple Watch.
Right now.
Oh my gosh.
Right now. What?
Oh my god!
It's robotic.
Oh my goodness, man!
I don't know why they do this.
Robots taking over. We're dying.
I am done. Oh my gosh! You sound like the most fried fucking robot I've ever heard in my life.
Your echo now.
What about now? It is about 5 fingers dying in it.
Oh, Dalek.
What
He's a
is it?
Dalek, man.
Robots taking over.
He's a Dalek.
Invasion of the back.
Mo's been cloned. He's been cloned.
Robots taking over.
Hey, try drop out and drop back
Yeah,
in.
drop out and
bro.
come back in.
Wow,
What?
a madness. What a madness.
Yo, drop out. It's mad.
Now.
Yeah.
Robots taking over.
What's that?
Wait, no. Before you speak, do me a favour. You can say exterminate, please.
Exterminate.
Say it, man. Say it. Exterminate.
That is funny.
Oh,
saying
that was epic. That was epic.
Oh my gosh, man. Tell you
Oh.
what, that's the best time I've heard anyone's audio absolutely collapse on themselves. What were we even talking about before this?
Some rubbish.
Robots
I
taking
think.
over.
Oh yeah, the Glazers. They see Roman Abramovich
You
don't have to apologize, man. He just does the right thing, man. He just leads by example. These lot have to grovel to their fans.
I was gonna say, I think the three clubs that I've done earlier: Arsenal, Liverpool, and Man United. So City, Chelsea, and Tottenham haven't.
No, I think Levy has apologized.
I don't think he has.
Yeah,
I don't think he has. If he has been, like, why would the fans still outside protesting then?
I'm sure he wrote a statement to apologize.
Exterminate? Is it happening?
No.
Much better.
Bro, I wanted it to still happen, to be honest.
Oh my days. That was ridiculous, man. Were your AirPods crashing or something?
No, bro, my AirPods are dying in it, and I just tried to charge them off quickly and then come back on, and then you lot are saying I sound like a Dalek, bro.
So like Dalek, mate.
Crazy.
Yeah, he sounded nuts.
You're moving cyborg.
Oh man, that was funny.
Oh, last night was a club statement by Chelsea. I thought it was a personal statement. Yeah.
I think Chelsea will apologize. I think seeing
But
everyone.
only for me, he has to apologise maybe to the fans and the 14 clubs. To me, don't need to apologise to like UEFA and stuff and all that.
No.
Yeah,
I think we should have Abramovich for Prime Minister. Personally, I think get Boris out and let
a Russian owner, a Russian guy.
I think the board will struggle in it. The board will struggle with the relationship they have with the fans, especially was it Bruce Buck and is it I forget the other guy's name, Lawrence in it.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the chairman?
Yeah, bro. If you're waiting for an apology, I'd say don't hold your breath. I mean, it might come, but
I think it'll come.
Yeah.
What do you mean hold your breath? Are they gonna really? It should apologize. Like, really?
I'm saying don't hold your breath. Like it's
don't.
I don't expect it to come, but I could be wrong. What do I know?
I think it'll come, bro. I think it's just the other clubs because the other clubs are doing it.
Will come.
You have the founders like flipping Liverpool and Man United doing it. Of course, Chelsea is going to be forced to do it. I think it might not come across as
but you understand the backlash from their fans is very much at the owner. Chelsea fans are not like hashtagging Roman out and all this stuff.
No, yeah.
But their clubs, their fans don't like their owners.
They don't.
Before this situation, they already wanted them out. It's just more now.
Well, some fans, but not all of them.
If Chelsea is smart, I would say they need to.
Great if Chelsea fans don't hate Roman.
They're saying
owner.
Nick out.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. But
what was that?
Nick out.
Spurs.
Close to the mic, Lewis.
Who's meant to be protesting today? Is it Spurs?
Spurs.
Apparently.
Wait, why are people protesting? I thought all clubs backed out now, so it's.
Yeah, but is out now.
They
want
true.
They want the ENIC out though. ENIC.
That's the point I was making. So some of those clubs are really, really annoyed with how their clubs are being run anyway, and then this was like a final straw for them.
Yeah, well, United and Liverpool and Arsenal, they should all be protesting every day to get their owners out.
Yeah,
Arsenal have the moment. This is the moment to do it.
Arsenal have a game on Friday, and I think they're planning a protest outside their ground.
Yeah.
Except for Chelsea, except for the oil club owners, we're not protesting our owners out. We love our owners.
Our owners invest in our squad.
Roman's the best owner in football, mate.
And that's the point. The point
I
I was
love
making.
Roman,
not quite true, but he's up there.
He's up. Well, who would you say is the best?
Well, Bayern's is
the
pretty
Leicester
good.
owner.
Oh, Leicester.
Yeah,
owner?
Leicester's-
He's good.
I'd say the City owners are better.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Look
Yeah.
at what they've done.
Yeah.
Look at what they've done for the club infrastructure, like their youth training facilities, like the training facilities in general. Look at what they've done to the community as well.
But in fairness,
Oh
Scott.
yeah,
they-
but look at
they-
Roman.
they-
Like he's done to our
they-
youth and everything, like a whole squad. Like
No, but I just think they've done more. That's all it is. Like, I'd say
and
that's what I'd
then
say.
even when Roman's kicked out of the country, he's been helping the UK government.
But Scott, the fact is, they're richer, and they've come in and they've seen what Roman's done for Chelsea, and then they've gone above and beyond him. So, I think we can be happy with Roman, innit?
Oh no, yeah, no, that's not to discredit Roman. The question or the statement was he's the best owner in football, and I just don't think that's true.
Fair
but I
enough.
see he's definitely up there.
Fair
I
enough.
will say he's the best owner, even if it's not true or not. Anyway, so
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
just love him.
gotta love the club.
Chelsea Rangers, yeah.
What?
Big up, man.
Jamie, Jamie, bro.
Love it. Big up.
Man said Prime Minister.
Can you imagine after the Ballon d'Or though? He's got to get the Ballon d'Or first, and then we can talk about Prime Minister.
So he's not getting Prime Minister then.
Can I ask a question?
They won't give someone like Mount.
Given how we played against Brighton, we're now in the top 4, but that still means that West Ham game on Saturday is still a must-win game.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed with the Brighton game because if we'd beaten Brighton, we could afford to draw with West Ham if we even lose against West Ham.
No,
but more like
I just think what happens outside yesterday. I think it affect the players big time.
100% fatter, 100%, 100%.
Because they were stuck in the coach from way longer than they would have been, so it affected their preparation. You can see the first 10 minutes they never really got out the blocks. Like it took a while for the game to start finding a rhythm.
Wrong personnel.
The game was postponed for 15 minutes. Yeah.
Tuchel made some weird decisions, man.
Yeah.
He made some weird decisions.
For me, I actually understand some of Tuchel's decisions, though, like rotation-wise, because he's in the FA Cup final, he's in the Champions League, even Pep does this, and he's in the Premier League. Pep is rotation too.
But I think
Rotating.
bar like in hindsight, we can say that a couple of the choices in the lineup was wrong. But before the game, the lineup was perfectly fine. It was perfectly serviceable to beat Brighton.
I think
What? Don't you think he had any choices?
There's
then?
there's only one problem he had for me is putting Mount in DM, and I never agreed with that part. But
I've
I
asked for
wasn't
that,
against it.
and I didn't see it
You
going as
asked for
bad as it did. So that's the thing. Like we can say after the game that Mount in the double pivot didn't work. Alonso was poor, Ziyech was poor, Zuma was poor. But before the game, these players you'd have thought would be able to get through that Brighton game with a win. And that's why I say the only thing for me that I would look at Tuchel and be like, that was weird, was the subs, because I thought Kai shouldn't have come off, or at least nowhere. He shouldn't have come off first. Ziyech should have come off first. I think bringing Kai off and not putting Giroud on was poor because you then didn't have a focal point who could hold the ball up front. So that was the only thing I can criticise him for. But apart from that, I don't think there was much poor that he did.
I think I've always been
it's just
banging
a
on
dead
about
game, wasn't it?
when we play teams that are going to sit deep against us, we need to play Hudson-Odoi because he's just a more creative option than Reece James on the right. And I think when we play in those big games, the other teams come at us and we have a game plan to go back at them. But in those games where we're going to have a lot of the ball, we struggle to break teams down. And I think you can see that our only creative player we had was Ziyech, and he had a horrible game. So maybe that's not Tuchel's fault that Ziyech had a horrible game. But I definitely would have played Hudson-Odoi.
I think also if they know that Brighton is pressing like the way they are, there are certain players that I think they're not applicable to play. Personally, that's just the way I feel, and Alonso should not be touching that squad.
Oh yeah,
when we're facing a team like this, because he needs space, he needs time on the ball to be able to play as effective as he can possibly be. But I think in this type of game, also like you said, Oscar, I think you need a Hudson-Odoi, you need speed, you need to be able to actually go at the opponents with speed, because that was the one thing we had over them, but we didn't. And unfortunately, that's what cost us the game, and that's why we were uneasy, because our build-up play was so poor. And also going back to the point earlier, Zuma playing in that middle of the three centre-backs, I think for me, I always have an issue with it. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And So these were some of the decisions that I kind of questioned. I didn't think that Mount did too bad, but I think Mount could have probably done more in terms of his pressing and his work rate and his ability to turn plays. He would have been more useful to have more up front, and I think that maybe would have caused us to actually get a goal at some point. But yeah, that's where we went wrong. I think Brighton, the problem is with a team like Brighton, because of where they are on the table, people think it's just an easy win. But people need to watch these teams sometimes. And when you watch these teams, you'll recognize which teams are actually good, but they're just very unfortunate. And Brighton is one of those teams that just can't score, but they actually play really good and have a good system.
I will say, after watching Alonso getting spun by a 29-year-old centre-back, I don't want him playing again.
Oh, so it was a 29-year-old centre-back this time, and it wasn't fun.
Well, I didn't know. He played last night. I didn't know.
Bro, Joel Veltman spun him, and Joel Veltman's a centre-back.
Check your DM, Lewis.
Play.
Bro, he's not good at anything. This myth that he's good going forward is just like, I'm not buying.
He's decent going forward because of his height.
He's a false left forward.
Stuff like that.
But
But that's it. He's a decent enough threat going forward. But
Look,
that's it.
But Scott, what you said is that he's high, and obviously we know he's finishing, but he's decent in the box. Getting us to the box is useless as well.
Liability the whole way through.
Yeah, so it's just like, I'm done with Alonso.
Let me get this photo up for you, man. Where is this? Is it loaded yet? I've got it. Fucker ain't loading. 1 second. I'm gonna have to do a share screen.
We need someone next season like Kovacic, because when Kovacic is not playing for me, it's so obvious to see, man. We need a ball carrier. We don't have one that does it as well as he does, man.
That's what we need.
Yeah, we need a DM, a destroyer DM.
We need a team of we need a team of 11 Mason Mounts, and we're good.
Oh, Johnny.
Johnny sent me this from 2017.
I can't even disagree right now.
What's this?
So is this meant? Is this meant? Wait. So if this is meant to be everyone from the Super League, where's Perez?
What? No. So this was a meeting held in October 2017. So it's been going on that long. 17.
Oh yeah, it's been going on for years.
Oh yeah.
So this is as you can see, AC, the Glazers, and the Liverpool owners with Woodward, who's obviously broken it.
So you're saying this is planning for years?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
definitely been going on for years.
Yeah, even Wenger even said it as well.
They've been planning it for time, but I don't think this photo means anything.
Nah, when did you get the owners meeting like that? Come on.
But these are all own Premier League clubs. They work in the highest. You don't think they meet? You don't think they have
You're plotting.
But
rival players, it's even with rival players, they meet up.
No, but they're always in contact with
defending them. He's working against us, guys.
They have teams that play in the same league. They see each other.
Oscar's a mole right now. He's acting as a mole.
Come on, guys.
You never catch Rome in there though.
I want the Super League that works for Chelsea. Okay, I want the best thing. No, I'm joking. But I think you would. You don't think Roman's met all these guys before?
Maybe. I don't reckon like that though.
No,
like over dinner.
Not in public over dinner, man. You meet privately.
Honestly, I don't think.
Private though. That is private.
That's not private.
Roman doesn't like breakfast.
Private is when it's on his yacht where no one can see it.
Tommy preparing to make a transfer request, by the way.
Good for him. Let him go and play football.
Tommy. He needs to do what's best for him in that situation, man. If he can't see a way in, he has to just go in it.
Tuchel doesn't favour him clearly.
Yeah, and we don't.
Don't favour who?
Chelsea fans don't love Tammy as much as
I like Tammy.
I like Tammy.
I like Tammy, but I just don't see him wanting to stay anyway. I don't think Tammy Abraham wants to stay.
But
the problem is, guys,
that games for Chelsea. The answer is no.
The problem is
from the Spurs fucking
protest.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
What?
Daniel Levy's brought a band out to try and calm everyone down, and it's not working. And then
he's brought a band out.
Oh god!
Nah, still not beating us. We're still.
Video, man, because we brought.
They need a better check.
Look how much comes up here. Can you not see the screen?
Yeah.
Right, what's that? Is this
Wait,
it
wait,
though?
wait,
They need more people, though.
I am so confused at why a Tottenham fan would be upset with Daniel Levy.
Because he's a
And
waste.
they don't like him.
He has
Don't
made
spend no money. Listen, Pochettino got him to Champions League final.
Oh
He
yeah,
didn't
that
spend
one.
the
Yeah, I
money.
saw that. I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, they're standing outside their brand new stadium. Like, what anger could you possibly have at Daniel Levy?
Because
Levy's not as bad as the Arsenal. No, Levy ain't as bad as the
They're
rest.
not even chanting. They're all literally just standing there.
They just look like
that's
idiots.
the deadest
The
protest
shit
I've ever seen.
protest I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
Wait, where's the uncle that was buying shit? That's what I want to see. Because they were buying stuff from the mega store and then coming out to protest. Here it is.
No, really?
No, wait. Let it come up. Here it is.
Don't tell me they bought from the fucking store.
that's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Honestly, that is. He's just.
This is pathetic.
The thing is, they're not going to take him serious if they see him come out of the mega store.
Yeah, that's literally that. Yeah, that was wrong.
They look to go and
It's
see
Tottenham
him
even
buying
playing
their
tonight?
stuff.
Yeah, they're
they
playing Southampton.
What, at home?
Yes, yeah, an hour, in 1 hour. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see if they get more people there, man. It doesn't seem like it's well organized at all.
Yeah, it looks a bit naff.
And going back to the Tammy situation, I do think he's been mistreated, though. If I'm honest, I think he's not been given the fair chance he deserves, and unfortunately for him, I think it looks like the best decision for him right now would be to say, like, I need to leave, because I don't think it's going to get any better. He's not even making it to the flipping bench, man. That's mad to me. Like, he's not.
Do you know what it is? The problem is, the way I look at it is Tuchel is not prepared to take the risk of playing Tammy, who hasn't played for quite a while now, due from injury. Since injury, he needs a run of games to get back sharpness, and we haven't got time for him to get that match sharpness with the games we've got.
I think it's the contract situation. It's like Balogun at Arsenal.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
that as well.
You're not.
as well. I
There's no
agree.
point in playing you for half a season when next year you could be leaving if you don't want to sign a contract. No point. And I think that's the thing, and I think that's why I think Tuchel's right in this, where Tammy doesn't deserve what he's wanted. And if that's the sticking point in all this, because I want Tammy to stay to develop as a player,
Yeah.
but he has to understand he can't get 180 grand a week. So then,
Is that what he's demanding?
yeah, he'd be our second highest earner behind Chilwell.
Flipping hell. Okay, that's brave.
But yeah, so that's the thing.
Wait, how
It's-
much is Kante on?
I don't know. I found a website that listed them all, and Chilwell was top. I didn't see where Kante was.
As if Chilwell's our highest earner. That's crazy.
Mason Mount is on like 40 grand or something stupid, if that. Right? He should be our highest earner. He should be on 300 grand a week, Mason.
No.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
300.
No.
You're pushing it, mate. You're pushing. I can't lie.
That's like Hazard's level for me.
For 300
Yeah, well,
grand a week,
he's our future. He's our
Johnny,
future.
for 300
He is our
grand a week,
future.
he's going to have to do a better job at number 6 for 300
Yeah.
grand a week.
He needs to be on an Mbappe level to be worth a 300.
No, for me, Hazard was off 300k level, and I don't really want anyone getting past that too much. Yeah, like
We don't need anyone.
Unless
Listen,
something
if
rare.
Mason
Unless
Mount, listen to me. Listen, on a reels. If Real Madrid came in and said we want to buy Mason Mount for 200 million and we don't want to sell him for 200 million, and he's on that wage and they're offering him 350 grand a week, we're going to have to offer near that money a week. He's going to get that money,
then sell
right?
him. If they're saying I want
No, you
200
don't
million
sell.
for
You
him,
don't
sell
sell
him.
Mason Mount. You don't
For
sell
200
Mason
million, yeah, I am. For
No,
200 million, yeah, I'm
no
selling him.
chance. No chance.
So
His
you're
value at the minute is 120 million. His value
You're saying-
already
Based on what? Based on what?
on the transfer market. He's valued at
But it's not.
120 million.
If Harry Kane's worth 150 million, Mount's worth 40 max.
Harry Kane's close to 200 million. At the current value of Mason Mount is about 120 odd million.
It's really
Yeah.
not.
Do you know what? Yeah, football. The bubble needs to collapse. There's no.
Listen, if someone went in to buy Mason Mount, you think we're going to sell him for 50 million? No
I'm not saying we're going to sell him for 50 million.
Harry Kane for 200 million. It's actually
worth 200 million or 120 million or whatever it is. He's just not.
He's worth 100 million minimum.
That
really
minimum. That name of transfer destroyed.
There's no other player like Mason Mount.
You can't even put it on the
Foden.
It was
Jack
always
Grealish.
Foden ain't got minerals like Mount. We've already had this.
Foden's clear of Mount.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Scott, he's not clear.
No, he's not.
Wait, what is Scott saying?
Foden's the best young talent currently in the world.
He's not clear of Mount. He doesn't do what Mount does. He doesn't do what Mount does.
He doesn't do anything that Mount does. He's not rely. England don't rely on Foden. They don't rely on Foden.
If you think he's
what
better,
do you mean? He literally got them through against Dortmund. What do you mean they don't rely on him?
What do you mean? No, they're already through. They're already through. That penalty killed the game. They're already through.
Yeah, but he scored in both legs, though, Johnny.
Yeah, fair enough. But Mount scored in big leg against Porto, and we won the tie. So he's a clutch player. We had one shot, and he scored. Money Mace is a clutch player. Sorry, I don't want to hear it. Foden's nowhere near Mount.
Sorry.
Nowhere near it.
Nah, it's definitely not nowhere near.
Mount is clear of Foden.
Foden is better.
Where was Foden in the FA Cup semi-final? Tell me, where was he?
On the bench.
Oh, damn, he was on the bench.
Yeah, when he came on, when you want a bit. What game did he change? They lost. He didn't change shit. He didn't change the game. They lost. They got knocked out. They got knocked out. He didn't change the game. If he changed the game, they would have come and won the game. He didn't. They lost. They're out.
As soon as Foden was getting warmed up, I was thinking of Johnny, and I was like, "Oh, he's going to use this."
Well, no, it's facts. If Foden came on, and he won them the game, hands down, fair enough. But he didn't. They lost. He had his opportunity. He failed. When Foden, but Mount was pivotal in that game. Of course he was. Of course he was. He laid the ball to Werner to cross it to Ziyech to win the game.
We can't embrace this now.
Yeah, it's a pre-assist. Yeah. His progression, his progressive play, all day long.
It's very important. We can't downplay.
There's no way. I don't want to hear it. And the bottom line is, when Foden played for England, Mount was the best player for England in all those games. He was the best player.
You're underestimating Foden. I have to admit, John.
Exactly.
I'm not saying Foden's not a good player, but he's not clear of Mount. And Foden is playing. No, he's not. Foden's playing in a Manchester City complete team with absolute fantastic world-class players. Mount is not
their best player.
He's not their best player.
No. I wouldn't say he's their best, but I
cannot say Foden is their best player. That's bollocks. He's not played every single game. He's not played every single game to be their best player.
I said on form, he's their best player.
On form, Mount's our best player.
Yeah, cool. He's still better.
No, he's not. He's not better than Mount.
He's better.
He's not better than Mount. I'm sorry.
He is better.
He's not. That's how I'm going to leave it. He's not. Mount is clear.
Lewis, what are you saying? Foden or Mount?
That, bro.
What?
You waited for them to finish and then you put that up, bro.
Foden, I'd say, is a better winger. I'd say Mason Mount is more versatile. I feel like that's a way that we please everybody with this debate, because other than that, we're going to be here for fucking hours.
Mount's clutch player. Mount's a clutch player, man.
Oh my God.
So you're going to tell me he's not a better player than Aguero?
Mount has dug us out of many games this season. He's playing in a team that is nowhere near City's level. Listen, he's been cotton wooled by Pep for fucking 4 years. He's played as a bit part player. Mount's come in from Derby in Vitesse, and he's been thrown into a Chelsea team. No other player could do that.
Should Batshuayi be our starting striker?
What?
I said, should Batshuayi be our starting striker because he's a clutch player?
What's Batshuayi got to do with anything?
You said your argument in this is that
Batshuayi?
Mount's a clutch player. Your argument is Mount is a clutch player. Batshuayi is a clutch player. Won us the league 1 year. Knocked out Atletico Madrid 1 year in the Champions League. So should we have Batshuayi
a clutch player is someone who does
striker?
it consistently, bro. Consistently. Drogba's a clutch player. Done it consistently in every final. Mount's played for us the whole season. Batshuayi fucking hardly played for us. Hardly. You can't even bring Batshuayi's name into this.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
Same
No, it's
argument you're
ridiculous.
using for
That's
Mount,
not
I
even
can
an
use
argument,
Batshuayi.
man.
They're
That's
playing
not
that
even an
game.
argument. That's crazy. That is crazy.
What about Greenwood, guys? Let's add Greenwood to the mix.
Oh, Greenwood's definitely up there as well. Greenwood's amazing. Like in
Greenwood's
terms of his
quality.
shooting ability, his
Greenwood
like
is
both
quality.
footedness.
You're talking
Like-
about wingers, man. You're talking about wingers. Mount's
Greenwood's
not a winger.
not a winger.
Mount
Greenwood's
is not a winger. Mount can play in the same team as Greenwood. He can play in the same team as Foden. He can play in the same team as fucking Grealish. All right, and that's credit to Mount. Those players are not as versatile as Mount. Mount can play anywhere. He's a baller. He's clear of everyone, man. He's clear of everyone.
He's clear of everyone.
I feel like this is a waste of time.
Every
talking about
manager,
Well,
every manager's dream is to
Mount
have Mason
is
Mount.
clear of everyone.
He's not though.
He is. Money
And
Mace is the one. man.
someone's put it
Oh.
perfectly in the super chat. Foden is
What's
more
that?
talented. Mount is more consistent. Exactly, and that's the whole
No,
point.
that's
Foden
bollocks.
is more talented.
Bollocks.
But Scott,
On
but
what
Scott,
basis
even
are
if
you talking about
basis, 'cause he's
talent?
in the team.
What
though.
basis?
yeah, but
What
Scott,
basis?
even if that's true, doesn't that make Mount better?
No, because I'm talking about who's better when they're both on form at the top of their game. Foden has more talent. That's not to say
Okay.
that Mount's a bad player or that Mount's not more consistent, because he is. This season he's been more consistent because he's been more involved.
Put
in
Mount
games.
in Pep's
But
team.
Foden
Put
is
Mount
more
in
talented.
Pep's team and see
Mount
the
doesn't
goals
get in
and
that first
assists
11.
flourish,
Pep's
my man.
team.
See him
Mount doesn't
flourish.
get in that first 11.
Put Foden in Chelsea's team. He ain't got the minerals to do what Mount does for Chelsea. He's not a player that carries a team. Foden is not that player. He's a flair
Genuinely
player.
no idea what
That's
you're
all
talking
he is, bruv. He ain't the heartbeat of a team, man.
Difficult, bro.
That's the difference between Mount, Foden, Grealish, and all these players that you're
man. I
talking
can't
about.
get in there.
No, but that's why I entertain this conversation, because part of me does feel like Foden's better, but I don't think it's as cut and dry, because there are stuff that Mount does that Foden simply cannot do for his team. So it's a bit of a higgy one. I'm not sure where I stand on it.
The fact that Foden was brought on for England on the right wing, and Mount was playing, controlling, dictating the play, that says everything you need to know. Why wasn't Foden put in the middle like that? Why wasn't he playing in that position?
Because all
he
this
ain't-
season for
he ain't
Manchester
got the
City, he played on the
minerals.
wing.
No, he
That's
ain't
why.
got exactly. He's only one-dimensional, man. He's
I
not
can't
like
lie.
Mount.
I don't
He
rate
started as a
Southgate
midfielder and he's moved out to the winger. That's literally
Midfielder, like he's going to get
opposite.
started
That's the
as a
opposite to being
midfielder when with
one-dimensional.
David Silva and De Bruyne, man. When's he starting? He's a bit part player. He's a bit part
Hang on,
player.
Mount's
with
not
that
starting
side.
if he's in the midfield, trying to battle in the midfield with De Bruyne and Silva. That's a stupid argument to make.
No, it's not a stupid argument.
It's a
Because at the end of the
fucking
day,
stupid argument to make.
at the end of the day, Mount
Hi,
has not
Johnny,
been
your
in
kryptonite's in the comment section.
Who's
All right,
that?
David, come in, man.
David.
Hey, I'm glad someone has some.
I
brain.
send David a link, Lewis.
Yeah.
That's gonna be interesting.
Is that actual David? though?
David, let me see this, David. He's the biggest waffler. Come on here, son. Come on, back it up then. Let's have it.
Back it up, mate.
Come on.
One, David.
Come
You
in.
want the link
I've
of
already
the
heard, mate. I've already heard you're
now.
giving Mount player of the season. Tell me if that's a lie, bruv. Tell me if it's a
Oh
lie.
wow,
now.
really?
That's what I'm hearing.
Seriously?
That's what I'm
Big up
hearing.
David, if he's turned around like that. I rate that.
No,
If he
I
has.
respect him if he has done it, if it's true, because he was saying Thiago Silva.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no.
Thiago Silva's still been barely playing.
Oh, you want to lick?
Yeah, he wants a lick. One sec.
Yes, David's coming in here.
David coming in.
Let me get you up on Instagram quick.
Oh, this is going to be hilarious.
There he is. Hold up. I'll put Football Terrace in the comment section.
Johnny, just to say one thing about
Yeah.
the England's thing that you mentioned, I think for me, like, I don't really rate Gareth Southgate's decision making in the England team in it, because that guy is not even got Jack Grealish in that team.
So that's the thing. What happens if another England manager comes in and all of a sudden Mount's not in a team and Foden is all the time and he's the player that the team's built around? Then what?
Isn't that
The
irrelevant?
team's not
though?
built. The team's not built around Foden, man. It's not built around Foden.
As in, what Johnny's saying is, regardless of whether Southgate plays him, if you are going to play Foden in the Euros, you would rather play Mount centrally and Foden on the wing, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All day
So
long.
that point remains whether Southgate did it or not. We've seen Mount in that position more, so we do generally feel like Mount is better suited to that.
He's your insurance, mate. He's the insurance policy for that team in the middle, mate.
But also, Pep is very particular in it. Pep
If I'm
like
picking an insurance policy in that England team, I'm picking Jack Grealish, if we're being honest.
Jack Grealish.
I'm having Grealish
man.
over both
He's
of them.
He's a forward player. He's a very high forward player. He's going to play on the left more than likely.
Says
But
who?
you've got to play Grealish. You've got to either sacrifice a Sterling or
Which
a
I do.
Sancho or a Rashford because Kane's in the middle and the Foden.
You don't have to sacrifice all of them. What you can do is play a forward.
What I'm saying is you're.
No way is their protest finished already. That lasted 20 minutes.
You don't have to drop all
You
of
got
them.
Echo.
4-2-3-1. You play
No
Grealish at the
way.
10, you play Sancho on the left, and you play Foden on the right. That's what you do.
Rashford
Their
on the left,
protest
though, for me.
lasted 20 minutes.
I'm not playing. I'm playing Sancho over Rashford.
Rashford's a goal scorer, man. We don't have that many goal scorers in the team.
Wait, what? 20 minutes?
That's why you have Grealish. You have
I've
Foden
had
in it.
bashes
And
longer
Sancho's
than
more
that.
creative.
They're not goal
Yes,
scorers. You get
David,
Rashford
what are you
and
saying,
Man,
man?
like David.
I'll trim as well.
Oh dear, Johnny. Honestly, again, like
Let me hear it, David. Let me hear it. Who's your player of the season, man?
Oh no, I said it was Mount.
Big up to you, bro.
No,
Big up to you,
my reasoning is for that is that under Tuchel, I thought our best player was Silva. Under Lampard, under Tuchel, I think our best player is Jorginho. Under Lampard, I think our best player was Thiago Silva. However, when you put them in the other systems, both of them dropped because Thiago Silva hasn't played enough and Jorginho wasn't good under Lampard. Mount has been second quite comfortably in both, in my opinion. So therefore, he is my player of the season.
I'm
to be fair,
very
that's a sound
happy to
argument.
hear that. Very happy to
It's
hear
that simple. It's that simple. My thing is though, like, let's back it up with Mason Mount and Phil Foden. Let's back it up. Like, Mount is good. Okay, I've never said Mount is awful. I've always said he's good. I just don't think he's as good as people say he is. But like,
I'm so glad that someone understands. I'm so glad that someone understands.
He's not level. No, you can say if Foden's better, cool, but he's not levels above.
I think there's like a the way I look at it is that I don't see Mount really getting much better than he currently is.
No,
why not? Can you explain why not? Because every team is improving, and he's improving right now.
No, let me explain my point. When I say that, what I mean by it is that I don't see Mount developing like I can see Foden developing into a player where he'll be able to go left wing 10. He'll add loads of extra things to his game because he's more of a flair player compared to Mason Mount. What Mason Mount has is he has the very good work rate. What he needs to work on is like the final ball and his goal scoring. But I don't see. He's already doing. I understand that Tuchel's coming. He's better manager, better system, therefore better player. It's quite simple. My point is with Mason is that I don't see Mason developing like anything extraordinarily new that we haven't already seen of him. I see Phil Foden having this ceiling where it's like Phil Foden has the ceiling to be like top 5 in the world. Mason Mount will always be a hard-working player. Mason Mount will always have that Mason Mount turn in the midfield. Mason Mount will always give 100% for the badge. But what I don't see Mason Mount doing is having the ability to play 6. I don't see that. I don't see him developing something. I don't.
No, you completely.
I think Foden can play wing for both sides. I think he could play 10. I think in the future he's and as of right now he's also playing false 9. Let's not forget that he's also playing false 9. And one thing Pep's done really well for him is that Pep isn't playing him week in week out. So I can see Phil Foden also outlasting Mason Mount as well if we are not careful. Mason Mount playing week in week out is cool. But when you look at Wayne Rooney, career was finished at 28. Foden,
but there are different ages though. There are different ages. Mason went playing week in week out Premier League at 19.
Yeah, but it's but
he was playing for Derby and Vitesse.
Week in week out will become a problem. These players that play week in week out, they do end up finishing their careers a lot earlier.
I disagree.
Durability is one of the people don't like to talk about it, but durability is one of the biggest things in football. If you are a player who is always available, it's a fantastic thing to do. However, a knockoff of being available all the time is that you tend to have shorter careers because you only can run so much.
That is true.
If Mason Mount runs and runs and runs for the next 10 years of his career, by 30, he will have very little left.
I was going to say,
but it's not going to be like that, David. It won't be like that. It's only this season. It's been really bad.
The example you gave is Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney was playing football from 16. Michael Owen was playing football from like 17. Mason Mount is 22.
Yeah.
Like you look at the players that have the most appearances in the Premier League. Your Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard's, Gareth Barry. They played week in, week out, bro. And Mason Mount will be one of those players.
But the thing is, what I see, with David's point, and what I'd add to that, and I think goes back to his point about developing, is when you get to a certain age, if you do that all the time, you have to develop your game to be slightly different. You look at a Rooney or a Barry or who else, they had to adapt their game and had to adapt how they played, so they didn't run as much.
How's Mount adapted his
doing
game?
that?
But Mount can definitely do that.
Hang on. I don't see Mount doing that to the same effect, to have the same effect. I don't see him being a Rooney type player where the whole team can work around him, and he's going to
drop deeper.
Johnny, before you say anything, just want to read Graham's chat saying, Johnny, after yesterday's performance, I think Jordan Henderson's bunghole might win Ballon d'Or before Mason Mount. No, I know that one.
When has he played? When he's only played in the pivot, very, very little.
And also,
let's have it right. If Kovacic was available and Kante was available, without any issues, there's no way Mount's playing that pivot.
Also,
Tuchel should have played Gilmore yesterday.
I also would not be able to perform in that position.
He needs to play more regularly to be considered for a pivot. Yeah.
Johnny, I would like to say using England performances for Mason Mount isn't the best idea because
why?
Because people weren't talking about Mason Mount for England before, but when they started talking about it is when we beat San Marino. Like, I understand he created more chances.
It doesn't matter who you're playing,
that's cool, but it's San Marino. Half their team.
It doesn't matter.
When they play.
It doesn't matter. A stat is a stat if you want to go by stats. No, it doesn't matter. Because there's no other player that's done it. There's no other player that's done it.
Johnny, do you know what I love about bro? Johnny, I love the fact you brought up stats because months ago when I was bringing up stats about how Mason doesn't contribute enough from open play, you said stats didn't matter.
Yeah.
So what about that?
But look at the open players, the amount of assists he's been robbed this season. Do you look at that as well? Or are you just going to look at what he's actually got? Do you not look at all the chances that Werner's missed from him or Ziyech has missed?
Do you not also look at the amount of times you play Timo Werner?
But you're saying that his chance creation is rubbish, and it's not. If you look in the he's level with De Bruyne.
Did I say Mount is rubbish? No.
Can I say about Mason Mount and Foden in England?
Say though, David, what you did say that I think is wrong is you said we are not going to see anything better than what he's already like.
No, as in, I don't think he's gonna like. He's not going to be like a Gareth Bale where he'll go from being a left back to an absolutely amazing winger. That's not as in he's not going to develop something and become like this son. He's not going to bounce off the page and be like, oh my God, Mason's now this world-class player. No, Mason will always be a very good player. He will always be a very good player.
But David...
Scholes played up top. And then he sat deep, didn't he? Yeah, but what do you mean not very well? They won fucking how many titles, man? Scholes was like their best player.
Do people talk about striker Paul Scholes or midfield Paul Scholes?
No, I'm not talking about striker Paul Scholes. I'm talking about Paul Scholes, bro. Striker Paul Scholes.
He never said striker. He never said striker. He's talking about when he played as an attacking eight.
Yeah.
No, that's striker.
He said again.
He never said striker.
He said striker Paul Scholes.
Hey, Lewis, Jen spamming comments.
Can I say about Phil Foden and Mason Mount? When they did play together, Mason Mount was actually still the better player than Phil Foden, like those games when same team, same manager.
But Mason
he's slightly older. Yeah, he's slightly older, of course. Yeah,
the fact that you don't think Mason Mount's going to get better and get anywhere near Foden, that don't sit right with me. But you being a Chelsea fan, that don't sit right, man.
As in, when I say it, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I think that Mason Mount won't get higher than an 83 rated card on FIFA. That's not what
I'm not talking about FIFA. I'm talking about you don't think he's got the potential to get better than what he is now. That's what you said.
Can I say on FIFA though, he has an
either you need to rephrase it or accept that.
On FIFA, can I say on FIFA he has an 87 card anyway? So
yeah, but that's an upgrading card.
Nah, no context.
Forget FIFA, man. FIFA.
No, hold on. Does anyone watch basketball here? Does anyone watch basketball?
No,
not really. I watched Greece once and I got bored of it.
Again, if he's I'm not sure what your name is, but you'll understand my point. Steph Curry when he came into the league was always a fantastic 3-point shooter. Always a fantastic 3-point shooter. But it wasn't going to get any better than him grabbing rebounds and throwing loads of assists. He was always going to be a really good player, but that was always his best thing. However, Giannis instead, when Giannis first came into the league, you were like, he's a good player, but you could see where he was going because you could see he had the ability to get loads of points, get loads of assists, get loads of rebounds. This is what I mean. Steph Curry's got better since he's been in the NBA. It's that simple. He has got better, but he hasn't developed a brand new skill out of nowhere. I can see Phil Foden not only being a good assister and a good goal scorer, but I can see him playing on multiple positions, being able to play in any system he wants.
Well, look, let's see, because time will only tell, right? Time will only tell. But what I'm telling you now is, if I could choose which player I want in my side, I'm putting all my money on Mason Mount in my team. That's what I want.
And as of today,
I big up Oakrake as well, saying David used to trash Mount. He's already starting to change his opinion. Just give him time.
And again, my point
I
on
understand that as well. That's why I don't want to overhype him or underrate him too much.
My point on Mount was
the bottom line is you can't even compare them anyway because they're both can play in the same team. And that says all you need to know.
My point about Mason was always he's really good. He just needs to work on his end product. Once that happens, I don't have a problem with him.
All right. So what about the Porto? What about the Porto end product?
But why does that improve? Because that to me is where
the Liverpool end product. Where's Foden? Where's Foden doing those moments for me?
Against Dortmund, as I said.
You keep saying Dortmund. Don't say Dortmund, bruv. The game was won.
The second leg was won. He's scoring both legs and they're going through. He's done it.
Johnny,
if he don't score, they don't go through against
Bullshit. They were going through with that penalty.
Don't move the goalpost to suit what you want to say.
He's not suiting it, but don't tell me Foden won them that leg because he didn't.
Johnny,
he won them the game because he scored in both legs.
He literally anybody see Kolasinac and Mustafi getting chased after Schalke got relegated? They played the Minerals map yesterday. Goham is going in Mason Mount.
Johnny, I'm not sure if you know this about me.
Someone brought it up as well. Foden scored Liverpool away. Okay, there's another clutch game. That's a game against your title rivals, top 4 rivals. Scored in that game.
Johnny, how many clutch moments has Mount had for us this season? How many? Go on, I'll tell you.
This guy.
You want me to tell you?
You know what? Yo, guys. I'm actually
Stop, man. What's wrong with you, bruv? Mount's your player, man. Why are you not backing your player, bro?
Because
that's bollocks.
Because Johnny,
I'm not sitting there saying like Chilwell's the best left back in the league because I can distinguish when someone's better.
Mount is levels, mate.
Because I can distinguish someone's better. Doesn't mean I think they're shit. I don't think Mount is shit. I just don't think
exactly. Phil Foden and Mason Mount can be amazing players, but I think Phil Foden will be a better player overall. I don't think it's an outrageous statement to say. Same way at the same time you can say Mason Mount, I think will be better than Phil Foden. No one's going to be like
Mason Mount, like he's doing already this season, he's going to prove everyone wrong. And I'll leave it there because I don't need to prove it anymore. He's doing it for me anyway with what he's doing.
I can't be asked.
Yeah, but you're a big Johnny. You're another big advocate for Lampard.
Someone's put it perfectly.
Which is better?
What?
Tuchel Mount or Lampard Mount? Which one's better?
They're both fantastic. They're both, because I tell you what, last year Mount played a big role in us getting top 4, and this year under Lampard he got us out in big games. Fulham game. There's a lot of games. The Sheffield United game. You've got the West Brom games, the big games where no one else stepped up. And that was under Lampard.
And Johnny,
so all I would say is he's getting managed under Tuchel, who's a very experienced, clever manager, and he's even getting better.
Johnny, again, Lampard. You made my point for me. Lampard. It was Fulham. It was West Brom. It was
Yeah. So what?
I can't remember the other team you mentioned. Under Tuchel though, it's been crucial goal against Liverpool, crucial goal against Porto in a Champions
Yes, but it's a
League
whole different
final.
formation you're
Come
playing.
on.
You're playing
Yeah,
a whole different formation.
Better because better managers make.
That's not his fault. He plays where the manager tells him to play. That's not his fault, is it, David?
So what you're telling me
But
is that
he still did a fantastic job in that system. Is what I'm saying to you.
What you're telling me is that Lampard was right to be sacked. Thank you very much.
No, but I didn't say he was right to be sacked. Who the fuck said that? I didn't say that.
No, because
I didn't say he deserved to be sacked.
No, because you said.
Fuck no. He had one fucking dip. Why should he be sacked? The club wanted to sack him and they did it.
He didn't have one dip because if he.
What do you mean he didn't have one dip?
No,
where are you going now this season? Where did he have another dip this season?
The funny thing is, Johnny, when we were losing those games, it was every time you went back to look at the season from before, it was always Chelsea are still 4 points behind from the same place. So I reckon if you go and look at last year, the dip was there as well.
David,
there was more than one dip.
Do you know what? Yeah, don't bring up that I wanted Lampard sacked because I never fucking wanted him sacked.
Hey, David,
I did want him sacked, and I'm happy.
I know you do because you're that typical fan that wants
Johnny,
him
one
sacked,
second,
bruv.
Johnny.
No, because
you're that typical fan that doesn't rate Mount. I know that about you.
I like winning. That's the problem. I like winning. I like winning.
David.
Yeah, I like winning as well. And I like winning as well. What's that? What's your point? It's stupid. It's irrelevant. That's irrelevant.
David,
you want to give Lampard time, mate.
You've
That's your
been
problem.
in 1 hour or whatever,
Like
and you've
fan
stunk
base.
the place up already, mate. What are you doing?
What?
You just can't help it, can you? You have to just carry your agenda everywhere. It doesn't matter what platform you're on.
Again,
To be fair, the conversation was going on before David got here.
First of all, and second of all I said is that I think Phil Foden is better than Mason Mount.
You're arguing with someone who thinks Mason Mount is good.
No.
I have no.
Come on, bro. You know what you said as well.
Why are you arguing with him? If you know what he thinks of Mason Mount. It's the worst person to try and get your agenda across to because Mason Mount is God to Johnny.
He's
it's
not
just
God.
no point.
He's not God. No chance. Not God. But he's an absolute baller. That's what he is. He's an absolute baller.
Yo. Just let me say this here. Yeah?
And the fact that my own Chelsea fans are having to debate me about Mount is a joke.
Just hold on.
Johnny, I'm on your side.
It's not that. It's someone put it in the comments perfectly.
No, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. When Mount goes and wins Ballon d'Or or goes and scores in the Champions League final, don't apologise to me. Go and apologise to Mason Mount. Apologise to your player.
When Mount wins Ballon d'Or,
bro. Someone said you can back your player but still be realistic, which is what I'm doing. Mount's still a good player. He's just not better than.
No,
Foden.
you said Foden's levels above Mount. I don't hear that
I
shit.
think he
can't.
No,
he's not. He's not levels above. He's not levels above.
He's not levels above.
Right. Come on, stop. That's actually disrespectful, man.
He's better than
You could say he's better. To me, I don't have a problem with people saying he's better. To me, I think Mount's better anyway. But if you're saying Phil Foden's better, that's fine because literally Phil Foden's a great talent too. So
I think Phil Foden scores more. He contributes more. That's the only thing I would say.
Yeah, of course. But
No. Where's Phil? Hold on. Where's Phil Foden on chance creation? On the Premier League table, where the fuck is Foden, bruv? Because he ain't nowhere near it. His name's nowhere near
Johnny
there, bruv.
goals, mate. He wins some games.
No. Hold on. So does Mount. And I'll tell you something, yeah? Hold on. Chance creation goes like this. Bruno Fernandes, Jack Grealish, Kevin De Bruyne, Mason Mount. Where the fuck is Foden, bruv?
Johnny, does Phil Foden? Johnny,
I don't want to hear that shit.
Johnny, hold on, please. Just let me get this across, man. I'm debating
facts. I'll give you fucking facts.
Any objectivity, any of it doesn't exist in this guy.
Stats can be manipulated, bro.
I can criticise Mount when he deserves criticism, but I will never accept you lot saying that Foden is levels above Mount because he fucking well ain't. He's playing with an unbelievable team.
Johnny.
He's playing with an unbelievable team.
You can say he's better. That's fine.
Johnny,
we are in transition with a bunch of kids in our side, man. We got hardly any fucking backbone in our side, yeah. And Mount is carrying us. Where's Foden, bruv? Put Foden in Chelsea's side. They ain't going to be doing that. He ain't got minerals like that.
Johnny. He was shit, mate. He was shit, wasn't he? Let's be serious. He was
Who?
bad.
Yeah,
Mason Mount. He was bad
When?
yesterday. He had a bad game.
He never plays
Yeah,
the pivot, Jem.
Yeah, but Jam, everyone was
He
pretty
wasn't
bad
that
that
bad,
game.
He wasn't as bad as you made
to
out.
play there.
He's not as bad as you made out.
He was.
No,
he was shocking.
What do you mean?
Jam,
Oh,
Jam, everyone was bad,
behave.
so no one's gonna have a good game.
I'm not
Everyone
having
was
that. I'm not
bad.
having that.
Yo, just let me
If the whole, listen, I'll tell you when you criticise. If the whole team played well, Mason Mount had a stinker, and he was the one player that had a stinker. Fair play to you, but it ain't ever fucking been like that this whole season. I've never seen you have a poor game. It's been the whole fucking team.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yo, Johnny, just let me.
When he's the worst of the two midfielders, you can say he was the worst of the two midfielders. It's not bad.
Jorginho was shit as well. What are you talking about?
He was better than Mount. That says everything. If he was shit,
Jorginho's playing in his fucking position. Mount isn't. What's your point?
He's
When's
played
Mount
this
played the
season,
pivot? You've got a natural Billy Gilmore to play that position, and you put Mount. That says everything you need to know.
Johnny, think about it like this.
Fucking hell, you're comparing Jorginho to Mount when Mount never plays
Jorginho plays the
pivot every game.
Johnny, can the two things not coexist? Can Jorginho not be playing his best position? Therefore, he would play better in that position.
He can only play in that position. He can't play in any other position.
No, but Johnny,
that's the only position he plays in. So you're putting Mount with a player that plays in his position, and Jorginho was still poor.
Johnny, I agree with you because I know that Mount can't play in that double pivot like some people are trying to make him to. So
he can be trained and managed to be in that position, but not right now.
Cool, whatever, fine. He can do it in the future, whatever. Johnny, Jorginho being better in that position purely yesterday, can coexist with Mason Mount not being the best midfielder yesterday because he's not in his actual position. Those two things can coexist, can't they not?
Jorginho was still poor for a player playing in his position, is my point.
Yeah,
he was poor.
But was he better than Mason Mount?
No, I'm not saying they were both poor, man. Yeah, right? But the bottom line is Mason Mount is playing is not playing his position, and Jorginho should be the more experienced and technically gifted player in that position to dictate the game, and he didn't. He did fuck all.
Are you trying to tell me that age means you should be more technically gifted?
He's more expensive. He's more experienced.
I'm not lying,
man.
but what are you going to do when you've got you know what I mean?
Mount's just turned 22 and he's putting a pivot. How's that Mount's fault? How are you tarnishing Mount for that display?
Just because Tamui Bakayoko is a £30 million player doesn't mean he's £30 million worth of quality.
Forget Bakayoko, bruv. We got Billy Gilmore. Billy Gilmore's fucking 10 times the player in that position that Mount would be, or that Kovacic and Jorginho could be, yeah? And they didn't even play Gilmore, bruv. All right, that's Tuchel. Tuchel made the decision to play Mount there when he should have played Mount further up top, all right, when Ziyech had a stinker. Absolute stinker, all right? And he should have put him there or put a Doy there and put Gilmore with Jorginho, and we would have controlled the game and probably won it.
Johnny, I have a question for you. Do you think Tammy Abraham deserves £180,000 a week?
He deserves a new contract, but I'm not saying 180 grand. He deserves a new contract. Yes, he does.
Maybe he does deserve a new contract, but I don't think he'd take it.
I don't care. It's not my money. It's whatever the club are prepared to pay for him.
So if the club said,
but right now, out of all the strikers in the Premiership in Europe at 23 years old, name me amazing players of Tammy quality.
What
about? No, name me players. Hold on. Name me 23-year-olds that you can have in your squad. Name me 23-year-olds of his level. No, listen. Name me 23-year-old strikers with proven pedigree that can play in a squad. I'm not saying it's your main number 9. I'm saying it's a squad player, and you ain't gonna find any. Johnny,
I will quickly go on my computer. I will look up all the players under the age of 23.
Give me the Premiership. Give me Premiership pedigree at 23 years old.
Ollie Watkins is a better.
Ollie Watkins, how old is he?
Like 25.
What?
He doesn't count.
25. He's like 25.
He's too old.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah,
saying
I know.
23, bruv. 23.
Lautaro Martinez. You said
Martinez, he's not playing the Premiership, but he's playing for Inter Milan with Lukaku. Yeah, go on. Next.
My word. I mean, Haaland.
Mbappe, Haaland.
Right. So my point is, who else are you going to get to be in your squad at that age? Yeah, but look at the players you're naming. Look at them. Look at them. They're not going to be 180 grand wages. They're going to be fucking 250, 300 grand wages.
So they don't fucking more in it.
My point is, they're not even squad players. They're first team players. I'm talking to you about having a squad player, number two, a number two.
You're paying 180 grand a week for a squad player. Are you good?
They're not number twos. They're not number twos, is what I'm saying to you. And my point is proven. My point is proven. You can't find another Tammy Abraham of that level, bro. You can't.
All season, Johnny.
Who's better? Hold on. Who's better to be your number two? Who?
I can't get someone that's going to be a number one because our current strikers ain't good enough.
You need a number two. Giroud's going. And Timo Werner can't play central striker. So who's your fucking number two? Tell me.
Werner. Because he can come on.
No, he can't play central striker.
The team is stretched, man.
He can't. If you're looking at basic strikers, yeah. If you're looking at basic strikers, who's your number two? Who's better than Tammy Abraham at number two? And you've named me Lautaro Martinez. You've named me Jared Felix. You've named me fucking all these players, Haalands and Mbappe's, and these are all fucking future Ballon d'Or players, bro. Name me a squad player. For 180 grand, and you can't name me one.
A squad player. What about Guerrero?
You can't name me one. He's not 23. I'm talking about 23-year-olds.
Yo, hold on a minute, please.
Why 23-year-olds?
I've rested my case. I've rested my case. You can't.
Yeah, because you've been shouting the whole time. You haven't let anyone
because I've got to shout over you lot. You don't let me speak. And you can't even back it, bruv. You can't even back it.
It's not even who can replace him for me.
There is no one better at his age to play with Premiership pedigree, all right, at his age, to be a number two in our squad. There is no one fucking better than Tammy Abraham. And name me a player better than him at his age.
Tammy doesn't want to be a squad player, I don't think.
I know. That's another discussion. That's another discussion. You've asked me about a contract.
Johnny,
You've asked me about a contract.
Johnny. Is he good enough? Is he good enough? Is he good enough to be in this Chelsea team and help us win a title?
As a squad player, yes, he is. Of course, he is.
So you think he can contribute to goals throughout the season?
Can.
How many goals a season is good enough for you from Tammy?
Well, last year he got 19 goals last year, didn't he?
Yeah, by playing
one season
out under Frank Lampard.
Yeah, but he got 19 goals. Whether you like it or not, he got it. Right?
In the Premier League,
and this year, hold on. This year we've bought Werner, and he's done fuck all. All right, he's contributed. That's it.
Wow.
Okay.
Well,
Giroud hasn't scored you anywhere near those goals, and our top goal scorer is Mason Mount. That's all you've got to know. So we've missed out on Tammy Abraham's goals from last year, this year, and that's a fact.
Jorginho scored as many goals as Tammy Abraham.
Fucking hell, they're penalties, man. They're penalties.
Don't
talk to me about penalty merchants.
They're penalties won by Timo Werner.
You know, I'm talking about open goals, man. Goals in open play.
I love it. Hey, do you remember a couple months ago, man, we was talking about open play, but Johnny didn't want to hear it because Mount was too good. Okay, it's cool, innit, fam? It's cool.
No, David, you always like to jump like a grasshopper to different points all the time. Let's stick to the Tammy Abraham point. Yeah, let's stick to this point and actually answer me, bro. Answer me and tell me who's a better striker than Tammy Abraham at 23 years old with the experience and the goals he's contributed at a high level for Chelsea Football Club. In the world of football, at 23 years old, there is fucking no one except the ones you've named me. There's no one else apart from the ones you've named me, and they're all elite players.
Guys, just before we say anything, I do want to read a couple of the donations. Broadcast saying the issue in Chelsea has the weakest left-sided attack among the top four in all leagues. Compare with Son, Rashford, Sterling, Vinicius, and so on. I think we just need to wait for Pulisic to become a bit less injury-prone first, but we know how long that's going to take. Big up Goam as well, saying the only thing Tappy has taught me is that we've all been too harsh on Batshuayi. Right, I'm gonna let someone else respond. Daniel or Jem, David, Jem, whichever one you guys want to go for it. You guys go for it, please.
Let me respond. My point is, the best number two striker we currently have at the club is Timo Werner. without a doubt.
He's
Timo
not
Werner,
a central striker, David.
No,
I'm
but
talking about
Johnny, let
I'm talking about a focal striker, bro, not a fucking half nine, bro.
Johnny,
I'm talking about a striker.
Johnny, let him talk.
Shut the fuck up.
Johnny, let him finish.
Go
Let him
for
get
it.
his point across, man.
Johnny, all right. When you look at our squad, Tammy Abraham as a striker doesn't provide you with anything that the other two don't already, or the other three technically, because his link-up play is not as good as Kai Havertz. His pace is not as good as Timo Werner, and his hold-up play is not as good as Olivier Giroud. So I don't see what his use actually is in our squad right now, because Tuchel don't rate him. It's quite clear Tuchel doesn't rate him.
Yeah.
So what does he actually provide to the team? He doesn't. He doesn't provide enough. So why would we keep him for
To get on
150k
that
a
point
week?
as well, sorry to interrupt, David. To get on that point as well, I've said this before. If you're a striker in the Premier League, it's more than just scoring goals. If you're not scoring goals, what else are you doing to help the team? When Tammy's in the team and he doesn't score, he does nothing.
He's non-existent.
If Werner doesn't score, he might assist. He might get a penalty. He might create space for someone else to score. With Kai, it's the same. He might create a chance for someone else to score. Same as Giroud. Tammy does nothing else. Look at some of the best strikers currently in the league. Even if they're not doing something, they're creating space for other players. Their link-up play is good. That's why even Aguero at the age he is, even if he isn't scoring, he's still a good player because of that other stuff he does.
You're not
answering
my question,
Johnny.
though.
Do
That's the
you know?
point.
Do you know what gets me with Tammy Abraham the most? Yeah, and yes, he can score goals. It's his reading of the game. And I know if you want him to go back post, he'll go to the front. If you want him to go near post, he'll go to the back. He always does the fucking opposite to what you want him to do. And whether that's just for him to learn as he gets older, more experienced, and whatever, I just feel like I don't know if Chelsea is the right place for him right now. I just think
my question, and you still all haven't answered yet. I'm not saying for him to be the main striker. My question was, name me a better 23-year-old with premiership. Hold on. Name me them that are not elite players that will not be second strikers in the squad. I'm talking about a squad striker that's worthy of 120, 30 grand a week. Name me a striker, and you can't.
Johnny, first of all,
he's not 23. I'm talking about a young, and also the disrespect that you've given Tammy for what he contributed last year stinks.
No, it's not. It's not disrespect, Johnny. That's the wrong thing to say. I'm not sitting here disrespecting him. My question of him is whether he can continue to stay in this team and be the player that we need him to be in the long term side of things. I don't think he is. I think that we need to look outside Tammy Abraham. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not an absolute.
Not only that as well. On top of that, hold on.
No one's answered, and I won't get an answer.
Johnny, my point is.
I can't be asked, man. If you
because Johnny, first of all, I don't actually want any of my strikers to actively.
Listen, boys. Let's sort this out very quickly, right?
No, hold on. Let me finish my point.
Let's sort this out very quickly.
All right, go. You know what? Go. Have it.
Go for it.
All right. So, Johnny, you said find a striker or a player that's 23 years old, and is better than Timo Werner.
No,
Tammy Abraham.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford is 23 years old.
Yeah, but you're talking about he's not going to be a bit part. He's not going to be a squad player.
Yeah, but and now your other point is we're not naming people that are backup players. We don't have to have a player that's specifically 23 years old as a backup. The way we're working right now is working. And you're saying that Timo Werner does fuck all. When Timo Werner's on the pitch, if he's not scoring, he's actually trying to set up chances. And that's what's good. When Torres was dead at scoring, Torres fucking put in the effort.
That's not my argument. That's
okay, what's your argument? I'll fully convince you.
My argument is we're talking about a central striker. Werner is not a central striker. He's contributed. There's no dispute about that. But he's not that focal striker like a Giroud, Tammy is, or a Haaland is. He's not that player. Werner is not that. I'm not making that comparison. I'm talking about if you want a central striker, Giroud's going to go next season. I'm looking ahead. I'm not looking right now. I'm looking ahead. If Giroud's going to go, all right, your only option is Kai Havertz as that false nine up front. That's your only option. But you need another. You need a central striker backup. You do need that because if you go and get Haaland, you need a backup to play like Haaland plays. You can't just rely on Havertz the whole season and Haaland the whole season.
So why Tammy Abraham?
You've got a lot of games to play. So when I'm talking to you about a squad player, I'm saying name me a better squad player than Tammy Abraham, who has got potential as well.
Inaki Williams.
Who?
I was going to say some people are listing him. Jonathan David, Alexander Isak, Moise Keane could come back. He's having a brilliant season.
And how much wages are they going to want? How much wages are they going to want?
Not a lot. Look at the clubs they're at.
The issue, guys.
Look at the clubs they're at. One's at Lille. One's
Why do I not stick to my player that's been at the club since 6 years old? That's going to get better.
I don't give a shit about
because it doesn't matter how long they're at the club for, Johnny. The issue with Tammy Abraham is when he plays, he's wasteful. Okay, he scored a fair few goals last season under Lampard, but even then, Lampard turned round and said that Tammy Abraham is a championship striker. For the manager that rates him to say that's horrible. Now Tuchel's come in. And Tuchel has said, Tuchel has not included this guy in his plans. Tuchel is a Champions League final manager. He has done so well under Chelsea already. He knows what he wants. And if he's going to exclude Tammy, then I'm sorry. There's a reason for that. You've got to trust the manager.
I'm not disputing any of that. I'm not disputing any of that. But one thing you got to know, listen, the one thing you got to know with me, if that player plays for that Chelsea badge, for the club, I will back every player. I don't care. I don't give a shit. I will back him. If Tammy leaves, fair play, good luck, and you leave. But as long as he's a Chelsea player, Johnny boy, he backs him. And I will back Tammy. And last season, from what he did last season, he deserves a new contract. He deserves a new contract. But I'm not saying he deserves 180 grand. I'm not saying that.
No, he doesn't deserve
saying
180 grand.
he deserves a contract for what he's contributed to us.
I'd rather sell him and try and edge my bets with somebody else. Honestly.
Yeah. All right, go and tell me.
Because Johnny, sentimentality wins you nothing in the end.
Exactly.
Who are you going to get that's going to be a squad player?
Hey, Johnny.
Bro, we don't need another squad player. Like, listen, if we go and get Haaland out there, we already have Olivier Giroud if he stays another year. Might never know if he stays another year. We already have Kai Havertz in there if he continues playing him at the centre forward, bro. Like, we don't need. We could just have Giroud as a squad player. Like he already is, bro. Like Tammy Abraham.
Oh my God.
As Ben said about Tammy Abraham, Timo Werner. He's not in good form yet. He has the best year for a team at the moment. And every single time he plays, even if he doesn't score, and he tries to assist, he tries to do something. Tammy Abraham is just shit. So,
Johnny, I've got a question.
I've just clocked something, boys. This is massive.
Go on.
All right, 23-year-old backup striker, Luka Jovic.
Yeah, but even he's been a bit up and down.
Yeah, but no, he was good at Frankfurt, but he doesn't suit Madrid. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't
I think
suit
it's
Madrid.
just-
That's
he
why he's
didn't
not
get-
fitting in.
didn't get
And
paid
Tammy
anything.
doesn't suit
Yeah,
Chelsea.
but look how much he's going to want. He's not
Johnny,
going to want small wages.
one second, boys. 1 second, Johnny. Can you? Because I need to understand this. What is it that he brings? What is it that's good about Tammy Abraham? Let's just go through that. What is it that you think he's good at?
Tammy Abraham scores against those teams that we struggle to score against, and he's proven that last year.
Based on what?
He's proved it. He scored against all the lesser teams.
One season.
He played for us last season.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
the
I want
only
to
season he's fucking well
so
had.
you're saying to put respect
What
on
do you want
Tammy
to
Abraham's
benchmark
name?
it on? The championship.
You're saying
Yeah,
to
but
put
what's-
respect on Tammy Abraham's name.
I'm
'cause he got
benchmarking
15 goals last
it on the
season, yeah?
Premiership.
He got 15 goals
Wait,
last year,
Scott,
right?
Scott.
So you want me to put respect on Tammy Abraham's name because he got 15 goals in the league last year, yeah?
Well, who else got us 15 goals last season?
Wait.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Michu for Swansea got 18 in the 1 year he had a good year. What did it mean?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, to be fair, he did
Well,
win.
Michu got 18 goals in the
didn't
season.
contribute
One of
to
the
top
Carabao
four,
Cup,
no?
to be fair.
We got top
Cool,
four. That
they won
didn't
the cup,
contribute.
but what did it mean the next year?
Giroud and Pulisic
And he's gone.
No, my point is
So,
he actually did
because
more
they've
for
had
them
one good
than Tammy
year
did
doesn't
for us.
mean anything to me. Because they've had one good year of scoring 15 league goals in a season, I don't care. I need to see more.
What is his strengths? That's what I'm trying to
He's
understand.
had an
What's his
injury and we
ability?
haven't seen him. We've hardly seen him.
I
And
don't
when we
know.
have,
think
he's
it's
done.
them. I
This
think
season, he's not played nowhere near as
you know
much
what
as
it
he
is,
did last
Cam, yeah?
season.
You know what it is? I feel like with Tammy, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of aesthetics involved because you see him, yeah, and you look at him, yeah. Before you watch him play, you're thinking he's tall, he's fast. Like before he came to Chelsea, everyone was like, "Oh my days, he's this tall, fast, strong striker." Before anyone saw him play, yeah, for the season, it was like tall, fast striker. He reminds me of Drogba, this, that. And then whenever things are going bad with Giroud, yeah, you see Tammy coming. They see Tammy coming on, see him running, pressing, and then it's normally after Giroud has a couple bad games. And then you see Tammy do the things that Giroud can't because Giroud just can't. He basically can't run. But we all know that. So then people think he's this perfect link between Werner and Giroud when he's not, because he's not faster than Werner. He hasn't got the position and the movement of Werner, and he hasn't got the strength and hold-up play of Giroud. So it's just revisionism, bro.
Big up broadcast Antonio from West Ham as well, and Rodrigo saying, "Oh, since we have our Chelsea back, who's going to pay the fees for Haaland? Thought we wanted Roman out. Hypocrisy at its highest." I don't think anyone was saying they wanted Roman out.
Who says we're getting Haaland?
We're not getting Haaland. We're not getting him. I'm telling you now.
Wait, go on. He would definitely get Haaland. He definitely wants to come here.
What's that?
It's doable.
Of course, we can pay. We can go and pay the money. Yeah, we can go and pay the money, but someone else might come and pay the money as well, and he might not choose Chelsea.
The only thing that I can say is, I'd say the best chance of getting Haaland. Now, let me explain. I reckon Timo Werner could play a massive chance in getting Erling Haaland. The reason being, Timo Werner has proved he can do it in the Bundesliga. So if there's a chance that we can give Timo Werner to Dortmund as a direct replacement for Haaland, that could play a part in getting Erling Haaland to come here. Now, all it comes down to is, no offence, Haaland wants outrageous wages. Outrageous. And obviously he's been pushed to want that by Mino Raiola, who is an absolute disgrace. Like, you can't look at that.
No one wants to deal with him.
That's the only thing that's...
Wait. Mo wants to say something. Go on, Mo.
And sorry, I just didn't want to interrupt your conversation either, so I thought I'd just wait my turn. And look, I think what John is trying to say is, like, as a backup striker, he's not bad. And I think, look, the way I look at it is, I do agree with some of the points John is making, but I also do think that currently, right now, based on what we need, Tammy might not be the answer. What I do feel, however, very strongly about it, last year he had a pretty darn good season for us, despite the young squad that we had. And I felt like he could improve up on it. And based on what I saw with my eyes, I thought he could. And based on the stats that I'm looking at, he's played 30 games and scored 12 goals, based on what I've seen so far. And in my opinion, he could have added more to that had we given him at least a chance to show us whether he's got it or whether he doesn't. And right now, the way I look at it, since we got to Shell, we haven't even given him a chance to be on the bench, let alone be on the pitch.
Then he can't be here, then, can he? That's my problem. Because
But the reason why
but Tuchel can't take the risk. He hasn't got time to muck around. He's just got to go with the experienced players like Giroud. He's got he knows Havertz is excellent in the false nine. That's his position. So he's gonna play him, isn't he? He's not gonna play Tammy.
Johnny, also, do you know what the issue is, though? I think for me, this is something I'm not a fan of, in people being quite reactionary sometimes, because some of the names being mentioned are people that have had a good season for the first time this year. And I think people are all of a sudden like, yeah, we need to go get them. And I personally think that's quite reactionary.
Yeah.
The way I look at it is, we want consistency at Chelsea. So if we're going to go get consistency, I'm all for it. But if you're out here telling me, let's get rid of Tammy Abraham, we're going to get Moise Kean, Calvert-Lewin, or so on and so forth. These are players that have had one good seasons, and they are in the club they are that play for their style. They're going to come to Chelsea. Chelsea's not going to play to their style. Chelsea's going to want a certain job to be done by them. Yeah. Can they get numbers? Yeah. We don't know that.
So and they won't want to be bit part. They won't want to be squad players. They want to be first teamers. That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing is, Johnny. They have to prove it on the pitch, and they have to prove it on the training pitch, like that they are good enough to be first team players. Because let's be frankly honest. Last year, if someone said, and I think let's be frankly all honest, Timo Werner, when we were linked with him, we all looked at the stats and we all said, flipping hell, if we get this amount of goals, it's going to put us to the next level. not taking into consideration the adaptation that might take place, not taking into consideration that he might have a not his best season at us. And unfortunately, we are in the position that we're in. So to me, to say that players are better or worse, or they're not good enough, or they will never be good enough, I think that is sometimes very short-sighted and reactionary. What I can say confidently, though, is that Tammy Abraham, in my opinion, this season hasn't been given enough chances to be able to say full outright he's not good enough. But what I can say is,
and he's got potential still as well.
If he's demanding 180, it's been nice knowing you, Tammy, because let's be frankly honest, he doesn't deserve that amount of money yet. He has to prove that on the pitch.
But we know every player and every agent they want the highest what they can get. It's not necessarily to say Chelsea are going to go, no, but we can give you 140. Let's meet in the middle. And that could happen. But my bottom line is, if you don't get Haaland and you don't get a Lukaku, where are you going? Who are you going to go and buy? Who's going to be that number 9 player? Tell me.
I don't think this is the thing, though, right? And it's not just Chelsea, and I've seen Man City do it as well. A lot of teams are venturing away from a classic number 9 striker anyway. There's not many of them out there as it is. If you notice it's the way teams are playing these days, it's a contribution across the pitch in terms of the goals given, you know? So, this whole thing of we need a number 9 because he's going to give us 40 goals might not be the situation. And I've been saying this for a long time. If we don't get a striker, do not be surprised. We might go and get a winger, but that winger that comes in might be the creative noose that we need.
But we need a focal point, Jem. We need a focal point.
Why do we need a focal point, though?
We do. We can't play Kai Havertz the whole season.
Not in the way we play, because in theory, the way we play is very sort of. They're always. There's never one focal. They're always interchanging, if you know what I mean, from the striker. So we don't ever focus on just going right, bang the ball up, because we have a focal point, Giroud, and we don't play him. We prefer players that move and interchange and make runs beyond the defenders. Unfortunately, sometimes in games, we just don't do that. We just don't do that in certain games.
Also,
and
we don't see it.
They need a bit of time.
Like Werner, when Werner was playing for us, I don't know if it was the last game or the game before, I've seen him countless of times make the same runs over and over and over again.
And we don't find it.
Do the same. And our team, it's like they're blind to it. They can't even see these passes.
We've had that problem. We've had that problem since Higuain was here. It's the one thing. Higuain was not good, but the one thing I could say about Higuain is his runs were good and no one ever found him. And then we've had that problem since then. And it's no matter who we've had playing up front, we have the same frigging problem where our players will make runs and we can't seem to find
because
them.
we haven't got a Fabregas, we haven't got a deep line
distributor. I think Jorginho could be. I don't think to the same level.
No, we just don't have players that can deliver that on a consistent basis.
I think Jorginho could be that player.
No, he's not. He's not. We got to get that out of our heads. He's not.
I think he could be. The key word is
I don't think
he could be, but I need you need to drill it into him.
A midfielder of this profile.
Lewis, get closer, Lewis.
Lewis, can't hear you, man.
Yeah, get closer, Lewis.
No, I was saying, like, we've needed
that crusty earphone.
Ah, you dickhead. I was saying we needed a player of that quality for years now, and we've had Jorginho in the squad. So he would have fit that profile if we wanted him to. Like, he isn't that type of midfielder. We have to accept that.
No, that's what I
No, but you see, the thing is, he just doesn't do it. He don't do it consistently enough. Him and Kovacic, I feel like the problem is they can do it, but they just like Fabregas. Whenever he got the ball, his head was always up to find them runs.
Yeah.
But you see, when it's Jorginho, he hasn't always got he's got his head up, but he doesn't always spot the runs as much. It's not like he can't do it. Him and Kovacic can. They've done it on some occasions, but they just don't do it consistently enough.
They're not that type of player. That's why. The reason they don't do it consistently is because they're not that type of player.
No, football's changed.
Wait, Mo, just before you say that, I need to go through this. Rodrigo, I see what you're saying as well. Rodrigo, we'll get you on tomorrow because we'll sort out the mic situation. We'll talk about everything you want to talk about. He said, where's the money going to come from? Are we going to set up a GoFundMe account? I'm trying to show the hypocrisy of football fans going up against Rome. Yeah, we will discuss that tomorrow because tomorrow's video will be based on the Chelsea Supporters Trust as well. So we'll get involved into all of that as well. Crofty as well saying Tammy is our top league scorer this season with way less minutes and you criticize him, but with Timo you make up excuses for him. Stop the agenda. I feel like with Timo Werner, like the excuses are drying up with him now anyway. Like we make the reasons for why it hasn't fully worked out for him, but same way there's so many reasons that he needs to improve on himself. And I don't think anyone's taking that away from him anymore.
Nah.
I agree. But again, sorry, Mo, just before you carry on to that point, again, I go back to it where I say, what are they doing outside of scoring? Because you're not going to score every game unless you're like an Aguero or something. When Tammy doesn't score, does nothing. When Werner doesn't score, he might do something. He might get an assist, get a penalty, create space for someone else to score. Tammy doesn't do any of that. That's why I will give Werner more of an opportunity to do something. And as Lewis said, excuses are starting to dry up, but I'll give Werner more of a leash than Tammy because Tammy doesn't do anything else when he doesn't score. Absolutely nothing.
Guys, wait, my opinion, wait, Teresa, in my opinion, we gotta admit, like Werner, for me, as much as I hate to say it, he's a pace merchant, Let's not beat around the bush, If he didn't have pace, and if he didn't have pace, then he wouldn't be half the player he is, But his pace is always something the defenders will have to worry about, and that's why against Man City, it was bound to happen. It was going to get him behind and it was going to do something. Defenders won't have that fear with Tammy. As much as you can call Werner a pace merchant, there's going to be a time in the game where the ball will get slipped in behind and it will make something happen to us. And because of his pace as well, the defensive line might have to drop a little bit deeper, which allows us to have more time and space on the ball or more space in between the lines. With Tammy, there's not that fear factor.
Never.
Yo, Johnny, I've been trying to get past my point for the past 40 minutes. But
Go on, because my Wi-Fi cut out.
I gotta go back to even before this whole time Abraham thing to go to the Mount versus Foden thing. I was saying that I'm debating this actually, but the time and probably when I'm debating this on my Instagram page, Instagram live tonight, it may be a bit too late for you guys. It's 2 in the morning actually, so that's gonna be a bit too late for you guys. But my thoughts with the whole amount of Foden thing, although I'm debating it with across in my country, I still believe that Mount and Foden. I don't think necessarily Foden is better than Mount. I don't think Mount's better than Foden either. I think they're on the same level, to be honest, because there is nothing extraordinary that I've seen from Foden done that Mount hasn't done. And there's nothing that I've seen Mount done that Foden hasn't necessarily done. Both of them scored in the Champions League quarterfinal. Both of them scored against Liverpool at Anfield. Like they've both scored in big games. Both of them helped us get out of sticky situations against Fulham, against West Brom and Real. But
look at the circumstances that Mount's playing in, and look at the circumstances Foden's playing in, and Foden is playing in easier circumstances. And that's
Foden, you got to remember,
Foden has had to change managers halfway through the season. He hasn't changed 2 different types of play. He hasn't had the injuries that we've had. Foden hasn't had that and added 7 players to the squad. He's played under Pep for the last 5 years. He's played under the same system, so you've got to give Mount credit for these things as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
of course I give credit.
I hear that.
Yeah,
but then
Foden.
Go on, bro.
Oh, cool.
Foden, Foden, like if we're taking everything away, we're just speaking on general ability and not even on their best day, because Foden is pretty consistent when he plays, When you watch Foden play, bro, I'm telling you, he's different. For me, I think he's the best English youngster, and I like Mount, but there's something about Foden that Mount doesn't have. Foden has that X factor. He's got the passing, he's got the dribbling. Like the guy flipping.
He scores.
Mount scored a great goal in Anfield, but Foden tore them apart. He had Liverpool on toast. So I think Mount is good, but Foden is just
look at our team. Hold on. Look at our team, Look at how complete City are, and look where Foden's playing. Put Mount up top when the team's playing fluid. They all know their roles. They've been under a manager with consistency after the last 4 years. Of course, you're going to get better rewards from Foden, who's been eased in. Mount ain't had time to be eased in. He's been thrown in from the very get-go and had to play almost every game. Foden hasn't had that.
We can say all of that, but at the end
I
of the
will
day,
say it. I back Mount all day long.
You can say that, yeah.
I'm not having
But on general
you lot
ability,
saying
we all
Foden's
know
better.
Foden is better than Mount.
Wait, guys.
No. It pisses me off, man.
Wait. Foden,
Pisses me off.
I think, yeah, Foden is a fantastic player. I think Mount's a fantastic player too. But look at their numbers; they're still similar. They both like performed at the highest level this season. Like this season, if you're comparing Mount and Foden, it's actually quite similar. But what I will say is that what I do think, there are things that Mount's better at than Foden. There's things Foden is better at than Mount. I think Foden
Mount better than that Foden can't do.
I think, honestly, I think Foden at times could be a bit rash. And then
What do you mean by rash? What do you mean by rash?
You remember in the first leg against Dortmund when he missed all those chances, that then eventually scored in like the 90th minute or something. I'm telling you, Mount would have backed this.
But Mount does the same though. He's like, I like Mount, but we all know he can improve in the final.
Yeah, we do know that.
Going around in circles, man.
I think
Pep has said it though, guys. Pep has said before that, and the reason why Foden doesn't get more minutes is because he likes to play at one tempo. I think Mason Mount is much better at managing the different types of tempos a game requires, but that's not to say that and he's bad for it. It's just like the way these two players differ. That's if anything.
They are different. Massively different. What interests me with it is the whole. If they would have played, because let's put it this way, Mason Mount's played a lot more minutes than Phil Foden. If they had played the same amount of minutes, would Phil Foden have scored more and assisted more than what Mason Mount's done in the minutes that Mount played him? Probably.
Yeah, but you've got to look at. Listen, you've got to look at. You've got to look at the circumstances. They're different. They're playing in different situations and circumstances. Very hard to make a comparison on two different players. Really, they're different players.
They are.
So you're comparing a Foden who plays on the right wing where Mount doesn't play on a right wing. You can put Mount there. If the manager says, Mount, I want you to play there, he'll say, Gaffer, I'll play there and I'll do my very best for you. But that's not where he plays. But put Foden where Mount normally plays, and Foden's not going to be in his comfort zone because he prefers to be in that position. So at the end of the day, you're comparing two different players. But
Foden
what I'm saying
started
to
as a
you is,
midfielder.
if I want, oh God, Scott, man, you kill me, bruv.
Nah, Foden, yeah. Let's be honest, yeah. What was I gonna say?
Foden is
more general ability, yeah. Foden, yeah. They're different types of players, yeah, and that's why I agree. It's hard to compare them. For me, yeah, I think the person, I know this sounds mad, but the person you can compare Foden more than Mount is for me like a fit and firing Kai Havertz. I think they're more similar than Mount and Foden. But you got to look at the qualities, yeah. They both possess kind of different qualities. Mount's probably better off the ball and pressing and stuff, but I think for me, Foden's qualities I'd rather have than Mount's quality. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I'd rather have Foden's qualities.
I don't know, man. Like, the thing is about Foden, yeah. Foden is a great player, and I said this on Twitter when I saw him in the first leg. I think I actually like to watch him. I love Foden. Brilliant player, obviously. I'm an Eagles fan. I love both Mount and Foden, and then I love Mount because I'm a Chelsea fan. But in terms of Foden, like I spoke with a City fan. He told me at times Foden could be frustrated. I said the same thing about Mount. At times he could be frustrated with decision making. But like I think that when Mount makes the right decision in the final third, it usually works out, and that's why I give him his credit. But in terms of Foden, like Foden in that first leg against Dortmund, sometimes he just had to take an extra touch. He just had to wait to place that ball properly. And he missed some chances in that first leg. Eventually, he bagged. I give him his credit. And then he bagged in the second leg. I'll give him his credit for that. But one thing we'll say about Foden in terms of being direct and being more electric and more frightening, I'll give that to Phil Foden for sure. But in terms of Mason, he gets the job done too. So I don't get the big difference between the two of those guys yet.
I just think for me, Foden has more of a He has like more of that X factor than Mount. Like when he gets the ball, yeah, like we can all speak about how he's in a better team, and yes, I agree, he's in a better team than us. Probably he was in a better manager than us as well. We had Lampard, he had Pep, but with all them world class players, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Sterling, the prime Aguero, it can be easy for him to just look out of place, and he doesn't. He looks more than just out of than just fitting in. When he
with those players, he wasn't playing every game though, Ray. He wasn't playing every game with those players.
Listen, Ray, I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, like, there are a lot of people that are saying on Twitter and across the world are saying that Phil Foden's a generational talent. He ain't no generational talent, guys. Listen, Wayne Rooney at 18 was made Manchester United so Ruud van Nistelrooy. Look at that. Look at it that way. Lionel Messi is a generational talent because he came through La Masia, he got into that Barcelona team, so, and it's easy to break through.
Take care of yourself, bro. Love.
It's easy to get in. It's easy to
love that. Love that. Yes.
It's not easy.
Yes, Lewis. Big up my G. Never fails, man. Never fails.
It's not easy. It's not easy to call. It's not easy to call.
Suck on that, everyone. Suck on that.
As I was saying, I don't think Foden's a generation. I don't think Foden's a generational talent. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think he is, bro. Wayne Rooney at 18 made Manchester United sell Ruud van Nistelrooy, guys. So think of it that way. And then I was actually having to think about some other generational talents that we had. Like Leo Messi's one. He got into that Barcelona team easily. Also, we have some other generational talents. If you want to go back to the olden days, Michael Owen, although they really reached his potential, he was benching players at Liverpool. And then there's some other generational talents. Mbappe was benching Edison Cavani, guys, like the all-time PSG's all-time goal scorer. He's benching Edison Cavani at PSG, guys, and that's the reason why I don't agree that he's a generational talent. And I think both of them are good, but I think Mount and Foden, to me right now, based on their numbers, they're not even that much different. So I think they're on the same level to me, to be honest.
Lewis, tweet that out so I can retweet, man. That needs to be tweeted out.
I've seen that already. No worries. Paul as well saying if we're using stats and X factor to rate a midfielder, then how could you say Ballack and Joe Cole was average? Why must every player be generational? This is why it's 50% stats, 50% eye test. You can never go solely based off one or the other. You have to have seen them and see the stats as well. Stats can make anyone look amazing or anybody look shit. I always say that, and I think a lot.
And Mason Mount's a nice. He's a street player. He's a street player. Believe me.
Oh boy.
Trust me. He's a street player, man. He fights. He's a fighter. And he's been put down. He's been put down. He's been put down by everyone. He's been put down by everyone.
Let's just support the.
Look where he is, man.
Let's just have good luck to the women's though, because I think they're appointed.
Yeah, fair play.
Yeah, also we could also use John, if you wanna add this your Phil Foden prop. What if Phil Foden come on and do against us? That's a big game. That's the semi-final game.
He didn't do nothing. He didn't step it up. He didn't change the game. All this talk I'm hearing, he changed the game. What did he change? They lost. They lost the game.
He didn't do anything. Put in one good ball in the box and nothing else.
He didn't levy Chevy's record against San Marino. Yeah, no other players done it, but Mason Mount did it. Let's have it. Come on.
Miss Smart a pre-assist. Oh, that's not.
It's not nonsense. I'm telling you what I've seen. It's telling you what I'm seeing, man.
We're pulling that card. What did Mount do against Brighton? What did Mount do against West Brom?
He was in a pivot, man. He's playing in a pivot. Put Foden in a pivot. They're going to win the game.
Just move the goal.
Scotty, chill, man. Take a seat back. Relax.
What scored against Brighton now? Against West Brom, sorry. He did. Actually.
And calling him in what? We lost.
Yeah, so fair enough. Like, I don't know. Like, I still think if we put Mason Mount at City is going to be good. I still think if we put Foden at Chelsea is going to be good as well. So I don't know. What's the big like extraordinary difference between the two. Like, it's not Foden's numbers are like extremely better than Mount. He's on a whole different level to Mount. I just think both of them are too good young English players, and both of them are going to get better.
Matt CFC's got a point, and that's what I said. Put Foden in a pivot, and he'll be a shambles. Mount is clear. You can't. Mount is more versatile. It's end of. I mean, he's more durable. He's more versatile. Foden's been a bit part player for City for a long time. He's not been thrown in, all right, in a transfer ban, and with not your best players and not really in a top 4 side. Foden's been playing for Manchester City, who've won title after title, playing under the best manager that's been in the game, right? And he's playing with world-class players and a complete side for the 5 years. Learnt off David Silva and De Bruyne. Mount hasn't had all that.
Yeah.
Mount's had none of that.
Oh, Lord,
right?
that's why I was saying.
Let's put everything into context here. Let's put it into context.
One day I hope you get to meet Mason Mount. I want that.
Do you know what? If I don't, man, I'll still back him, man. I'll back him. Like at the end of the day,
you will, and people will speak about how you've defended him daily on streams with your heart, with your sword, with everything, man. You deserve to get to meet Mason Mount. Hey, guys, we're ending the stream.
Remember Mount for Ballon d'Or? Remember Mount for Ballon d'Or?
Yeah, Mount for Ballon d'Or.
No, we're going to go for another 20 minutes, please.
That was funny.
Hi, big up everyone who's been locked in. We went from talking about the Super League to talk about Mason Mount. If you wanted things to go back to normal, there it is in one sentence. We went from our original topic to a Mason Mount debate. Big up everyone who's been locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already. The link to everyone's Twitter is down in the description below. Tyrese, I'll add yours as well just in a sec. Seeing as we are talking about Mason Mount, we will leave you with the photo of the newest penitentiary picture. You guys,
he's
take
one
care.
of our own. He's one of our own. Mason
and we'll be back
Mount, he's one of